Then we're here.
Did we just teleport?
Spawn us here?
No,
I'm
it's
confused.
the theme song. Like the end of the theme song. Our theme song. We
Yeah.
have a theme song.
Right, we
every
have
month.
right. We do
ways.
have a theme song.
But it's usually typically not you just going da-da-da-da-da.
I think
like
we
an
should change it
actual-
to that. He's just gonna be like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Salutations and welcome to the Man of Our Video Game
Can't just
Podcast.
start the podcast ever. There
I've
always
done
seems to be
that
an
for
issue.
like 4 weeks in a
Yeah,
row.
he has.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, at least he hasn't done the soundboard. So
Well, because it sounds like crap because it's coming out of my phone. I'm Andy.
Well, I'm Matt.
I'm hosting.
I'm
This
Dan.
Is Matt. All right, I
I'm
guess
also
I'm not
here.
introducing.
Just
anybody.
completely
no,
off the rails.
reintroduce. I want to be
Is
introduced.
this part of the new format?
Yes, yes. We all just yell.
Still just doing our casual, no plan Sam format. That didn't even rhyme.
I don't even have a
I
plan.
like structure, Andy.
No
I
plan.
mean, we have some structure.
We have
we're
structure.
We're gonna talk about
We're
that Harry
here.
Potter app that just came out. 2K is forcing ads on people, or people think that 2K is forcing ads on them.
We should do this outside today.
Diamond in the Rough games. No, it's gross out. It's muggy and I hate it.
Oh, I like this.
I'm fine with the temperature. It's
Just the mugginess.
the moisture.
Yeah.
Because it was 80 degrees over the weekend and it was nice and dry, and I was fine. I loved it.
Yeah, I was playing the Switch out in my my porch. It's great.
Yeah, look at me, I'm Dan. I own a porch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Burn. Burn to Dan.
You
owns a porch.
You are
it's
welcome.
out there now.
You are welcome
Loser.
to come over to my porch. Remember, we
Matt and
wanna-
I have our grill circle.
we want to
It's
do
true.
that. What is it? 28 hours? 48 hours of game?
We
48
legitimately have a summoning circle of grills between the two buildings of our apartment.
You trying to summon good food?
I don't know. They just towed a bunch of them away last week.
Oh, it's not
Matt,
good.
turn that not Pokemon off.
It's Pokemon. I'm playing Pokemon
It is.
Go.
It is basically Pokemon Go.
Oh, I thought there literally was Pokemon Go.
Well, welcome to the show.
All right.
It's going to be a good show. We are continuing our laid back, no structure format
Because nothing's happening and we got nothing
that
to talk about.
may or may not give me an aneurysm. We haven't found out yet, but I guess it's less work for me to do, which is kind of nice. And we had positive feedback from it from a few people, which was nice. So what do you guys? I'm gonna start off with what I'm playing.
Whoa.
Screw you guys.
Jesus.
What are you playing, huh?
I always do you guys first. I just want to be me. I beat Spider-Man.
Sweet.
Thoughts?
So, do I have to do a spoiler alert for a game that came out like last year? Is that necessary?
Depends on what you're spoiling. Like the ending, or
No, it's not like I'm. All right.
all right.
so
Now you've given enough spoilers, so skip ahead if this is
I
something.
I won't say anything specific about the plot twist, but the story of the game. It did take a while for me to really get into the game. Not too long, but I know I said this on the last podcast that I was like really into it, but that kept growing as
the
I
story
played the game.
itself?
The story itself was amazing. I loved the twists and turns it took. I was a little surprised at some points. So you get to play as Miles Morales for some of the game, who, if you've seen
Yeah,
Into the
it's weird.
Spider-Verse, you know who he is. But I loved that the character was there and what they did with the character, but his gameplay parts, as well as
Oh,
Mary Jane's, were
clunky.
so boring.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
They were
it was
just a
clunky
race.
too.
It's just
I want to
dodging
be Spider-Man.
people, which I enjoyed what they did in the game. Like, the whole point of the game was everybody's Spider-Man. Everybody can save the city in their own right, which is, yeah, whatever. Woohoo, sunshine and happiness and farts. But, man, that gameplay was boring with him. Rest of the game was fine. Combat in general, again, like I said last week, was, mixed. I didn't end up figuring out that web shooting thing you guys were talking about until, like,
The web
the
blossom?
last 5 minutes of the game.
Nice. But it was good for those
So
5 minutes, right?
I didn't know it was a suit power. I thought it was a skill, and I was kept searching through the skills, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. And then I finally found it right when I was doing like the tail end, like the cleanup stuff. I platinumed the game.
Nice.
It was pretty easy to do, so I did it. It took a lot of time though. I didn't. Instead of recording the next episode of Link Between Zeldas, I finished this game and platinumed it instead. I don't have any regrets about that. However, I did really want to get an episode of Link Between Zeldas out over the weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to do that again soon. Hopefully for this weekend. But yeah, I figured out the web shooting thing at the end, and I'm like, wow, where has this been all my life? Because this took out like every generic enemy ever in like one button for a
Yeah,
while.
it just destroys like
2-button press.
every
Which
guy
suit is it
around
connected
you.
to? The original one?
I don't remember.
I remember getting it.
One of the ones I just
It's one of the
unlocked.
first 2 or 3 that I got.
Yeah,
I never changed suits. I always kept like the original.
because I kept unlocking suits and I think I unlocked a batch of them at once and didn't know that they each had a different power. I did like to switch around the suits a little. I mostly used the one from Spider-Man Homecoming. The
hood.
No, just the suit he has in like Civil War in Spider-Man
Oh yeah, the one with the big
Homecoming.
eyes.
I just kind of like that one, and I used sometimes the cartoony one, sometimes the noir one. So I did switch between a few, but I kept going back to what I thought was a good power because I did not know about the web shooter one.
Yeah, it's
And I guess Matt even said they nerfed it, but I didn't see any nerfing, and it seemed to work pretty well.
It was so
It's
like
great.
overpowered the first few weeks. They had to patch it out because like I guess I don't know what they did to make it different because I played it in that like first week and a half, and apparently it's not as powerful as it used to be.
Did you get the free Tobey Maguire suit?
Yeah,
Okay, that
I
was like
didn't-
a free downloadable.
I didn't use it.
Oh, I used it
but
for a
Was it
while.
just a skin suit of Tobey
Yeah,
Maguire?
it's really,
Well,
really
it's
cool.
the Spider-Man
Yeah,
suit,
it's a Spider-Man suit,
which was
Really-
really weird. I didn't realize the webs were like shiny in that
Oh,
movie.
I don't
Like they
even
like
remember that either.
like if you look at the suit, it's almost like all the webbing was
I thought
reflective.
you meant the one he shoots out. Yeah, like on his suit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bumpy and
It's weird.
I like it. I thought it was cool.
Well, it was a good nostalgia trip. They didn't have the Andrew Garfield one, but I didn't care. Nobody cares.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Okay.
but because of that, I wasn't able to play any other games because I was too busy platinuming Spider-Man. But I really enjoyed it. Kind of like a Marvel movie. It had like post-credit scenes, and it really left it like. I don't want to say anything about the post-credit scene in the game because that was a pretty huge one at the end.
Yeah, that was cool. But for me, I just didn't really care about the story overall.
That's
for some
funny. I
reason.
actually forgot it.
Like everyone seemed to love
forgot
it,
the end.
but I mean, just the action kind of carried that game for me, so I didn't really care that I didn't care about any of the characters or anything. It just kind of felt like generic superhero, bad guy, good guy. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
what
I think
else
I'm
to
the
You
say.
might
biggest-
like if you like that combat, Matt. Did you play Shadow of Mordor /
Yes.
Did you play the newest one too?
Yes.
Did you like that? Because that's like I feel like that's got everything you want. It's got kind of gory hack and slash. It's got
Yeah,
it's
it was
got
fun, but I liked the first one better.
Oh, see, I like the second one only because they kind of opened up more items. Plus, there was like rare drops and loot things like that. So it's a lot of those games have the same type of combat. Spider-Man, Mad Max,
I
Batman.
feel like the second one kind of got too repetitive though. Like it was almost like
It
there
was
too
definitely
much to do,
repetitive.
and
It was
the
grindy
same
if you
thing over
want
and over.
to. But I love that Nemesis system, and I don't know. That's what carried me towards. I haven't finished it, but
It didn't remind me of Batman because I wasn't jumping halfway across the map to kick another enemy. Like Batman, as soon as he was like in that combo mode, he would like jump 80 meters to the next guy like automatically. Spider-Man, I guess, instead like web shot him. Or I felt like there was a bit more skill, but yeah, it was that same repetitive.
yeah, well, it's
kind
just
of
aim in the
gameplay.
general direction of where the guy is, 360 degrees, and then you fight. You attack him. And then,
I am also I would say out of the three of us, the biggest superhero fan
Yeah,
at the table. So maybe
I
that
could
might have
take
been a
more
lot of the
leave on.
reason why.
it was a good game. I mean,
Like-
Spider-Man was hands down a great game.
Yeah,
So-
I loved the story, but yeah, that's really all I played. I've when I'm cooking, I play Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, but that's about it.
that sounds
when I'm
dangerous.
waiting, when I'm
Cooking with
when I'm
Final
waiting for
Fantasy?
something to boil or something, I'll play that in the kitchen. But
Do you cook like Link does? You just throw crap in a pot and it gets.
I wish it would make those
Bad meat.
noises. Like
Does it get ranked?
that it makes those noises.
I never got used to that. I never knew how to cook like good things.
Dubious food.
Kinda like in real
dubious
life.
food.
Zing.
Ooh, second burn. What are you playing, Matt?
I am playing. Funny that you mentioned it. I've been playing Breath of the Wild. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
right.
You live in the same. Never mind.
Well, he was playing it mostly over the weekend when he was gone.
Yeah, so
Ew.
I went to New York with some high school friends, and we just played video games the whole weekend because that's what cool people do. And I started Breath of the Wild over again. I actually had already beaten it, but I wanted to beat it again and do all the temples or shrines and everything. I did the first time I played it, I just kind of mainlined it, so I did like the minimum number of shrines you could reasonably do that you just kind of see as you go about. So it's I mean, newsflash, that is a fun game. I don't know if you guys heard yet. I'm enjoying it. I think I have like 40 shrines or so. So there's still a big, and I have the whole map uncovered. So there's still a big chunk of shrines left. And having not,
There's 120 overall.
yeah, there's 120. So I'm like a third done with the shrines, which is kind of the main reason I'm playing it again. And it's kind of strange because like I feel like I've explored a lot of the area. I've unlocked all the map as far as getting all the towers, but I still have a lot more to find, and I'm not sure where any of them are. So
I got to be honest, I I scoured that game. I was able to find all but 2
Really?
on my own. And the 2 that, because if you buy the DLC, it actually shows you every place you've been. It's kind of like an adventure mode type thing where it shows you your entire
Yeah, I don't
journey.
have that.
So I used that to kind of find out like what areas have I not been to. I was able to find a few that way, but the 2 that I couldn't find, they were just like obstructed from view. It was one of those ones where like the Sheikah Slate won't tell you that they're near because it's like a puzzle you have to solve to get it to appear. Like you have to put the ball in the hole. It's a ball in the cup.
Yeah. Yeah, there's shrines that you see that are just like, oh, that's a basic shrine you have to go into.
Yeah.
But there's some that are like, here's a shrine at the end of a maze, and once you get to it, they just give you the upgrade that you get automatically. Like there's no actual shrine itself. It's getting to the shrine. That's the kind of puzzle.
Even those will be up on the Sheikah Slate though. Those ones where it's like the circle platforms and you have to like put the ball in, or I think one of them was like shoot a boulder out a wall or something like that. There was like a lot of weird ones.
Yeah, I did see one this weekend where there was like a giant circle in the ocean that you have to get to, and you just keep going in, and in the circle keeps like it's like a a swirl, like the Dreamcast swirl, and you're just going to the center point, and then there's like a hole for a ball, which I don't have.
Is there a name for that shape?
There probably is. I just call it the Dreamcast logo though.
That works.
Like a spectrograph.
Yeah, but yeah. So my biggest complaint, because I don't want to just heap awe on it, is kind of the best thing about the game is like the exploration, but it's kind of feels slower than I'd like it to be. I don't like how they use horses in that game.
I never used them.
That's my problem. I never use them too, because you have to. So you find these horses that are just kind of randomly, on the grounds in the map, and you can tame them, and then you can bring them back to a stable, and then you have that horse forever. But the problem is like you can't call the horse. You can whistle at the horse, but it has to be kind of like close enough to you to hear it.
Yeah.
Which it never is close enough for me to hear it.
With the DLC, I got the horse where every time I whistle, it just teleports
From
to me.
wherever. Okay, so that sounds
should
great.
happen.
I haven't gotten the motorcycle. I don't even know how to get the motorcycle.
Yeah, so there's also a motorcycle in the DLC, which sounds great. Like, I just wish there was better ways to explore this giant world, because I don't want to go back and forth through all of these places.
We can
50
warp
times.
you can warp to any shrine.
You can warp, but it's still. I feel like I'm still gonna have fun with it for a bunch more shrines. But once I get to like the last 40 or so shrines or 30 shrines, I feel like it's just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have to look this up, because it's like, all right, I could search them on my own, but I don't have any of the DLC, so I'm just gonna be slowly going from place to place. Like, oh, have I checked here?
Well, I didn't get
It's
the DLC until I was on my like last 10.
Yeah.
Like it took a while, but
So we'll see. My goal is to get them all, but I don't know.
you still killing people and drinking their blood, or choosing not to, I guess,
Yeah, it's kind of like
Dance playing vampire.
yes.
with a Y and
yes.
no E at the end.
No.
Actually, murderer.
There's 3 different districts, and you got to make sure that, well, if you don't care, if you want to just power up, just kind of like we talked about last week with Bioshock, if you just feed on them, yeah, that's great, but you would get like the bad ending or whatever.
Is that actually what you're still playing?
Well, that, and I just picked up a game that just came out yesterday. It's called Sinking City. It takes place in 1920, like Boston, and you play a detective in.
Is this a full price game or like a?
Yeah, no, it's full price.
What's this system? What's this for?
But PS4.
Oh, weird.
And it's got a physical copy.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's made by a small company called Frogwares. But basically, it's a very, very like detective game. But you play like a 1920s like.
It's got very mixed reviews all over the board, but
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, that's fine. But it's interesting. It takes place in Boston, but it's like I guess it's H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, is it one of his books?
Yeah, it's based off like his world.
He was an author, right?
So-
that's a thing.
Yes. So
Okay.
he wrote some sort of type of horror style or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshots. It actually looks pretty neat.
It is, and I'm very surprised at how well the detective stuff is. You kind of walk around and you'll pick up ideas, and then your guy has like a special ability where he can visualize what happened, and then you basically put it in order. And then once you put those things in order, depending on how well you do, you get more evidence that you can use like to pin it against people, but there's no right or wrong answer. There's
It's
no
like Phoenix Wright, except dark.
yeah, but and then it has like the combat of like a Silent Hill. Well, I shouldn't say more like a Silent Hill Homecoming, where
Like
it's
LA Noir, like weird.
Yeah, it plays just like LA Noire.
That's actually
except,
what I was about to ask,
except
too.
like Silent Hill. So it's like LA Noire meets Silent Hill. It
Sounds like something I want to check out.
The guy's a little depressed, like the main character. But all the characters so far, I've only played it for about 2 hours.
My
but,
favorite game is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay.
Cloud, depressed, Advent Children.
Yeah, but the voice actor doesn't. I feel like he's really like monotone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's actually so far the worst voice actor out of all the people that I've talked to. But
Just your guy that you have to listen to all
yeah,
the time.
I know. But it's neat. Like the first guy you walk into is like a rich guy, and you're like, oh, you think he's gonna be human? No, he's part ape, and it's like, oh, okay. So and then the
What
next
year is this
person-
based in?
1920s. But like H.P. Lovecraft is like a whole like it's almost like water
Sci-fi.
like yeah like
Now, I'm no scientist, but I'm
But
pretty
that's-
sure we evolved from apes a long time
Well,
ago. It
that's
was
the-
at least 100 years,
but that's
right?
kind of the weird thing
Or
about
more.
it.
Were you there, Andy? Were you there in the 20s?
I wasn't.
He was?
I could have just spawned
Yeah.
You
suddenly.
missed those
Counterpoint.
pictures of the monkeys. But then like there's other people that they look like fish people, or they're not like actually fish people, but they have like the skin of like fish. It's like very
Skills.
wet and yeah. So they have
Gills?
yeah, and then your guy is suffering from
Delusions, because he's
Pretty
seeing
much.
fish and eat people.
pretty much. But it takes like the insanity meter from what's that
Eternal
GameCube game?
Darkness?
Yes. So the more that your insanity goes lower, the more things that like come on your screen, and you have to like obviously go, oh crap, which one's real? And I've already had like 4 jump scares because I'm like, oh. Because there's like there was a huge flood that happened, and the flood, I guess, is connected to this disease or whatever, and it's made people hysterical and some people nuts.
I wonder if I wonder if it's going to turn out at the end that like all the stuff you're seeing, all the weird stuff, like the ape people and the fish people, are going to just be like a delusion or something.
I don't think so, because I think that's part of the H.P. Lovecraft thing. I didn't learn a lot about.
I'm not very smart. I don't know a lot about authors.
I don't know what it is, but
I'm not
like,
very well read.
Their previous
Let's put it
game
that
is
way.
like some Call of Cthulhu or something, and I don't know what that is, but I guess it's like a giant like evil octopus or something. I could be wrong, but I
Yes.
guess that's what it is. And
Something like that.
yeah, so it's along that like universe. So I it's kind of like how zombies, like all zombies are like, oh well, if they all get stronger at night, and it's just kind of like a general
Does
consensus.
it play like a survival horror game? Like, are you afraid
Yeah,
to
like
get into
you have to
fights?
craft bullets. You barely have like any. You get a bunch of like items and stuff. Like you get bullet casings, you get gunpowder, and you have to decide how you want to use it. You can try it after I'm done if you want to give it a go.
Like, I've heard of the Call of Cthulhu, but I'm just trying to look him up just to see
Yeah, I
if
did.
I've either
The last
read
one-
anything he's done or seen a movie based on something he's done.
This company also made a lot of the Sherlock Holmes games that did pretty well for.
Also, what he's known for?
No.
Love.
The game company.
Oh, the game company.
Frogwares. If you check, they've made a lot of the Sherlock Holmes. Some of them that were pretty good, that got pretty good reviews. A lot of the movies ones are terrible, but the newer ones that they made were actually pretty good.
Was it just like its own standalone Sherlock Holmes game, not
Yeah.
based on any like
Yeah,
previous
no, it's just
property?
based. Yeah, it was just its own thing, and they did. I guess they got pretty good reviews with it, and people like the last one. It's a first-person like horror game, Call of Cthulhu. I haven't tried it.
That's actually one of his books too.
Oh, okay.
Lovecraft.
So again, it must be.
That's why I said I've heard of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, the game is pretty neat, and
Does, are the like solving?
the puzzle part is neat.
I was about to say, are they
it's-
challenging puzzles?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. So, like the first one that you
Oh,
saw.
here we go. Pass around the participation trophies. Everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you could do something wrong. The game is very like it's very hands off. Like it doesn't give you waypoints. It tells you, hey, something happened between this street and this street.
See, I like that.
Oh,
I like-
they don't
I
give
like
you
that.
any point. Not only that, they give you a bunch of icons. So if you select a marker instead of like like Assassin's Creed, you just put a marker on the map. This one, you put whatever you want. You put a key, you put a skull, you put whatever, and it tells you that you decide what it is.
Every time I was playing Spider-Man,
Yeah.
I remember there was this specific side mission where this guy's like, "Oh, these college kids are insane. Go help them. I only have a picture to go off of." And I'm like, they gave me the picture. It was like him behind a bridge or a monument. I'm like, "Oh, cool." And I have to go kind of like find it.
That's what this is.
But then Spider-Man says, "Go north." just keep going. Like Spider-Man tells you almost exactly where it is. It's like, oh well, that takes all
this
the
game's
detective.
very
No.
unforgiving. Like no,
Granted, New York is a very large place, and it probably would have been a kind of a drag to try to find this specific bridge.
Yeah.
But like I was hoping, like maybe like they
More
kind of
clues. And...
they made you use like your action ability skills in the game to do certain things and to get like a certain I guess reward out of the challenges, but when it came to like actually solving things, they kind of like handheld you through most of
this
it.
one does not. And that's one of the things that's kind of neat. Like I said, the first the ape guy, I guess he's rich and he owns a lot of land in this area, and his son went missing to find out after the flood. Like he wanted to find a connection to the flood, and everyone that came back from that expedition went nuts. And his son was missing, and so he's like, I need you to find my son. And you go find, if you find the body and you find the guy who killed him, but he doesn't recall like how or why he killed him. And he's like, oh my God, did I do it?
Yeah,
and
I would totally love to borrow this game.
Yeah, and then you find some information, and then you decide whether you think he was under the influence of like hysteria when he killed him, or do you think he knew what he was doing?
I feel
and there's pieces of paper like he was threatening like the bartender that he owed him money. So, he has a bad side, so it's like, crap. But the guy tells you, like, before you arrest him, he's like, I have kids, I got, So you decide how you want to do it, and then you go back, and I screwed him over because I wanted money. So
has this been a popular game? Because I feel like I haven't heard any traction on this whatsoever. How'd you hear about it? You just found out about it through the grapevine?
I keep checking gameplay videos, and of course, it's a third-person horror game. So I was like, oh my God, third person. I love third person.
Well, and horror.
And horror. So, and then not only that, it had like you can change your outfit, and I was like, oh, this is like everything I like in a game. So, it's neat. Like I said, I'll let you guys borrow when I'm done with it.
Yeah, I've always been waiting for something to fill my Silent Hill 2 void that's been missing.
It won't fill that. Nothing will fill that, considering it's my favorite. Well, our favorite horror game of all time.
One thing can fill it: playing Silent Hill 2.
That's true.
Well, it's nothing will create that. How horrified I was when I first played that.
No.
So that's only unfortunate. I still jump every time I see or I hear that giant knife that he drags through like the basement.
That's like me when I first played Breath of the Wild. Like, I don't think I could ever...
You were scared?
No, like getting an experience like that when you first like visit the open world, and like that was to me was just like, wow, hands off. You're just here in the world, and like that was just like a fresh moment.
It reminded me of Fallout, Fallout 3 when I first like walked out of the vault, and they were like, wait, I can go anywhere? And then you're like, oh, I can't go anywhere because...
Yeah, those like video game highs are something that I'm always searching for. I feel like you get those in a game like a Breath of the Wild, or I got one in like Astrobot in World of Warcraft.
Really?
Just like...
Dude, you really need
I know. It's just hooking it up is such a pain. So
like a drug.
So I helped Dan hook up his entire entertainment system, and I don't remember why. I think it was just because it was too complicated to hook up at the time.
No,
too many things happening.
It's because I don't have the HDR one. So every time I want to use HDR, I'd have to... every time I also have to use it, I have to unplug that one out of the television. I have to plug one into the PlayStation and then one into the television. And
we went through this whole painstaking thing where I like rewired his entire entertainment system, made sure none of the cords were showing, and then like it was just on the side, and I'm like, dude, you're on your own. Bye.
Yeah. So I wish you could hook it up like...
Just get the wireless one when it comes out.
Well, yeah, but that's... Like I said, you guys keep talking about Astrobot and how awesome it is, and I want to play it.
It is feet away from us, too.
You also own it. It's in your house.
Yeah, you do own it. You bought it recently, didn't you?
No, yes, but it's the problem of hooking it up. It's such a pain to hook it up and take it out. You don't mean with jumping between games. Yeah, but then I gotta pull the thing out. He tied everything perfectly, and
I did do a really good job.
He did do a good job, and nothing has been ruined. Like I said, I just bought that at Entertainment Center, but it fits right in the middle.
I'm not doing it again.
I know. I'm gonna salvage what you have. I'm literally gonna take...
I don't even like want to redo mine, and mine's like 1/100th the scale of yours. Like, I was just thinking about like, crap, when I get the PS5, I'm gonna have to like completely redo everything. I'm like, oh no, wait, I'm just gonna take off the PS4 and plug the same HDMI cable into the PS5. Because it's going to play PS4 games, supposedly, hopefully.
That'd be nice. You can probably sell your PS4 for $100.
Xbox, the new Xbox is
I have the Pro, too, so I can probably get, like, maybe at least 150.
Backwards compatible all the way. All the way.
We'll see.
No, they said it is. They confirmed that.
Yeah,
So
I just never have like the only Xbox products I have are my 360 games. I was just looking at them the other day, and like
they've probably remastered half of them too.
yeah, but they need to remaster Mass Effect.
Oh my god.
I really want them because I haven't
Well,
played
next
through
thing is
that game, and I really want
Dragon Age is the next thing. Then maybe waiting for the next Mass Effect to not screw up.
to. Oh, BioWare. I don't know. They're probably
Well, they're in
done.
big trouble with Anthem, so
Yeah, Anthem's done. Harry Potter came out.
Harry Potter,
well,
go.
the go, yeah.
I need to tell you about my experience playing this game for the short amount of time that I played it today.
Yeah, first off, can we just say it's weird how like iPhone game or phone games get launched these days? I feel like I never hear about them, even for big ones like this Harry Potter game, and even the ones like Elder Scrolls Blades. Like they just put them in these like soft launches, and then all of a sudden they're like, you just find out that they've been out for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
You
I
know
think
what?
I found out just like I was on Twitter or something. I just saw a screenshot. I had no idea.
Yeah,
People on Facebook were like, "Oh, send codes," and I'm like, "What?" So
Yeah. I'm sure the whole Harry Potter community was on top of that from day one. Like I knew exactly when Pokemon Go launched, but I
Yeah.
again, I don't think it was until the day it launched though. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like there was like this huge.
I still don't know when this.
That's
is.
build 'cause up phone to games
usually aren't that good. That's why Diablo shouldn't come out for a phone.
Especially
Yeah, but
when
usually-
you're just reskinning a
Yeah.
game. From
Oh, that other game that they made. Yep.
I still don't know when this game came out. I downloaded it last night because I heard about it on a podcast.
I
But
think it was just this.
You
past
really
week.
do like phone games.
I like the idea of phone games, and I think there's a lot more potential that they're not tapping into.
Was it my turn on that phone game we were playing and I missed it? Or was it-
Ascension?
yeah. Or was
Yes.
it your turn?
It was your turn.
Did we miss it? Is it gone now?
Yes.
So we have to restart.
Yes. I won by default
Okay.
because you didn't
Is this like
make a
Words
turn
with
for 3
Friends?
days.
It's a game called Ascension. You can
Yeah,
actually
it's-
play 4-player.
So it's a really fun board game.
free.
And they have a free phone version of it that
Oh,
everyone should download.
It's really fun.
game. It's a good way to learn the game too.
It's just a deck
that.
building game. Then at the end, someone wins. But then everybody starts out with the same cards at the beginning, though.
That sounds cool.
It's really neat. Works really well on my newer phone. I know it struggled on my older
I
one.
feel like phone board games are awesome. Like that's genius because then it's
well, it's not really a. It's kind of like Hearthstone, where it's card.
It's
Oh,
like-
but a phone
they're
board
not
game
battling,
would
It's
be
but-
perfect
really
for that
fun.
because like I'll play with a friend, for example. I play games with Andy, and I'll just take a turn, and then you put it on a 3 or 7 day time limit, and they can take as long as they want to take their turn. You don't
Was
have
there
to
a
worry about it.
7-day option? We should have done
I
that.
think there's a 14-day option. So I mean, you can just play it when you have free time, take your turn. It's kind of like if back
Oh,
in
Words
the day.
with Friends, where
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of like back in the day when people used to play chess by mail letter. Like you would say, "Oh, this is my
What?
move," and you would mail.
I've never heard that. That's
You
pretty
want me
cool.
to
though.
mail you a postcard every time I take a turn in
Frasier
Ascension?
did it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. He did.
So I'm assuming it's something that happened a lot.
Shout out to that. I'm sure Frasier fan we have
But it's-
listening to the
But
show.
it's like a very relaxed way. Oh, you can turn it on and say, "Oh, this is what my friend did," and now I'm going to take my turn, and then he can take his turn. It's
So
kinda fun.
the issue was, I got a notification that he had taken his turn. I must have just swiped it away, or it happened overnight or something. Then I just forgot about it because I didn't have that notification. Because I'm really like anti-notification on my phones. I have
Yes.
no notifications for anything.
Yeah, I got to reinstall mine because every time I tried to tell it to send me notifications for that game, it just still wouldn't. So that's why I just had to randomly check. But
I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I won the first 2 games
that's true. You're a
outright,
lot- you're
so
a lot
I'll
better
let
than
you
me
win
at
one by.
Ascension.
I'll let you win by default. It's fine. But yeah, Harry Potter came out, and here's my experience with the game. This is my legitimate experience. I'm gonna just narrate every thought I had while I was playing this game. Wow, the sound's on. I need to turn that off. Oh, there's an opening animation. Oh, this woman will not shut up. Where is the sound? Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop talking. Stop talking. Let me find the settings. I can't find the settings. Where's the setting button? Oh, fine. Make me do stuff first. Did I just catch a person? Is this Pokemon Go with people?
Yep.
It looked like I caught Hagrid. Like I caught him. Like I own him now or
Yeah.
something.
Did you put a
Then
stamp in?
Finally, after
book.
like going through like 5 different submenus, I found the settings and turned so many things off, and then I deleted the game. Because I'm not
Jesus.
I'm not a Harry.
That
I
was
just
intense.
wanted
So
to.
what do you do? Like
It's
like
Pokemon Go.
so you
It's-
literally throw something at the person?
all right, so instead of throwing the ball, you trace your finger around a line. It actually is a little bit of skill, though.
It's like a spell that you're
Yeah,
casting.
but you have to like draw it almost perfectly to get like a really good
Kind
shot.
of like
Kind
those
of like
Mario Party trace games where you have to trace the
yeah,
line.
yeah. which those are fun.
Yeah, so
this isn't fun.
Instead of having like a certain number of Pokeballs that you can get, that you have to get new ones at Pokestops, you have energy. So
it's all the same Pokestops too. Like I look down the road.
Yeah, I mean it's
a
made by,
reskin.
Well,
it's made
so-
by Niantic.
so it's a reskin.
Niantic. It's still the
The
same.
way Niantic made Pokemon Go was their other game, English. They took the spots that people had, whatever suggested, and they just took that and turned it into Pokestops.
Pokestops, yeah.
This looks exactly like Pokemon Go though, because I can see
Yeah, I saw him
I
playing.
can see
over
the
there.
gyms even look a little different. Like
They're
the
fortresses,
gym,
Andy.
they're fortresses, Dan. But it's all the same
There's
stops.
also inns and greenhouses.
I also don't
I
care
haven't
about
visited
Harry
any
Potter,
of those,
so.
so I'm not sure what they do.
So I'm regardless of the fact that I'm not really huge into the mainstay Pokemon games. I grew up on Pokemon and a huge Pokemon fan. I technically grew up with Harry Potter because it was activated at the time I was a child, but I never like I remember a couple of the books I read. I remember I saw a few of the movies. I slept through one of them because it was boring as all hell. Like I'm not the target audience for this game. I'm sure that they were probably going after all the people that don't play Pokemon Go that would play it.
Yeah,
if it
well, I
wasn't
mean,
Pokemon.
Jurassic Park has one, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
how
the
is
Dra-
that?
that
You were
one-
really wanting me to play that.
I want. It was bad. It was just a really bad version of Pokemon Go. I mean, this one actually, I'm gonna give it a chance for a little bit. I've only played it for like, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour or something.
I'm looking for a phone game that I can play anytime I'm not already playing Pokemon Go.
True.
I have a game that's Pokemon Go. It's called Pokemon Go.
That's true, but
I
I
want
mean,
Gwent.
Pokemon Go came out 3 years ago, almost. Like it.
Yeah.
When you go on a walk, you're not really finding much new for the most part. There's not a lot undiscovered unless they're releasing a bunch of new Pokemon. So I kind of like the idea of
That's true.
whatever I'm trying to find
Something
out.
new to catch.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks pretty interesting. They have an equivalent of eggs. They're called port keys. So instead of
It's like they could have done something different.
Instead of an incubator, you have a key that you have to find. So
boring.
but you still have to walk the.
no, it sounds exactly like Pokemon Go. That's the issue.
Well, boring
just reskinned
as in like they didn't think of anything new. They just
Well,
literally kept the same game.
I feel like there's a bunch of new stuff. So you can create potions that can help you, like in battle.
Yep, we
kind
got
of like
that.
different berries, but you need
got
to
that.
find items where you can to get everything to create them.
just like
The other thing I didn't tell you about the game was I couldn't stop laughing at it as I was like attempting to figure it out because I don't know, everything just seemed really silly to me because I don't know anything about Harry Potter. I think that might be why.
There's like daily achievements and where you can get XP and different items and things like that too, which is nice. So there's stuff for it to do. I'm just not sure if it all comes together because I'm still not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean,
well, what are you doing, Pokemon Go?
you
just
walk
walk
around-
Going around
it's-
catching people.
so it's, well,
That sounds quite
It
awful.
looked like I caught Hagrid. That's what I'm like. Am I catching people instead of
You're like-
Pokemon now? Is this like an
think you're-
anti-slavery to animals game or something?
You're capturing people and then you're stopping bad guys from
I
doing
turned him
magic.
into a
basically.
stamp.
It's kind of weird.
Oh,
It's
and they're
weird.
yelling all of like the Harry all right. I am a super nerd. I still love like things like Power Rangers and everything like that. So I'm not making fun of the Harry Potter community when I say this, but I'm playing the game and they're yelling like Mistrobius, like all these like weird Harry
Terms,
Potter
yeah.
words, and I'm just like laughing at it because I'm like a fish out of water in the game. And I have no frame of reference for any of this stuff. It just kept making me laugh. But like I have a cardboard cutout of Optimus Prime in my closet, so it's not like I'm turned off by people who do enjoy it. I'm not trying to start like a turf war between Pokemon and Harry Potter here. But it is just reskin Pokemon.
Yeah, that sounds.
How much
boring.
new did they actually do? Like you were just saying about creating the potions. Like that looks
Yeah.
like Pokemon. Is that Pokemon?
No, you are playing the
No.
Harry Potter game. They even just made the grass a slightly different shade.
Yeah, but they got like owls going around in the background and stuff, which is kind of
That
cool.
you cannot click on, I found out.
Yes,
I was hoping
true.
I could click on the owl and catch it,
Or draw it.
throw a Pokeball.
So there's more stuff. I'm only level 5. You unlock professions at level 6. So I think there's like fighting in this game. I guess hopefully I'll have more to say about it next week, but
Again, I'm not laughing
It almost
because
has
I
too
think
much
it's like
going
a
on.
bad game or anything. It's just making me laugh for no reason. I don't
Let's talk about
understand it.
real video games now.
I mean, this was a pretty big thing. You just didn't even turn it on, so you have nothing to say.
Look,
and
you can-
that's why you're frowning right now.
you can make
Oh,
a
it's
badge of
just-
yourself and that you take a picture and it's got like things that you can put on you, kind of like a Snapchat. So you can get like a scarf on you. Or
I thought you deleted
glasses.
it.
It's kind of interesting.
I thought I did. No, I'm just trying to show you the thing that I was talking about. All right, so here's... All right, so now I'm catching a Pokemon. It's an owl. So look, that's what I'm talking about.
Pokemon.
Like you can't say on the podcast, but like you have to draw like.
Yeah, and the faster you do it, the better too.
Well, I did fair. It said some weird phrase and it went.
Yeah,
it disappeared too
so you can
quickly
do,
for
like,
me to even say
Poke-
what it was. It was like Metropolis Propolis.
In Pokemon Go, you can get,
Oh, jeez, I have to do it again.
great-
Did I not? Oh, did the Pokeball not catch it?
Yes.
Do I have to do it again?
instead of like a great throw and ultra throw, there's a
Good.
it goes from fair, good, great, and then I haven't gotten the highest.
I don't
one.
even
so
know what
it's,
the
like,
hell it
perfect or
just
whatever.
said to me. The magic resisted. It's.
I mean, that's the equivalent of it.
I
breaking out of
know.
the Pokeball.
I know, but it's so dumb. Just keep.
You need to give it a chance, Andy.
Yeah, I think I'm all set.
I'm fine catching my Charmanders.
I think I'd be interested in Blades maybe on the phone. Or Gwent. I want him to make Gwent.
I've heard good things about Gwent.
It is the most addicting in-game card game that I've ever played.
I hated it.
It was awesome.
I hear
won
a
the
lot of people
championship
saying how good it is.
in the game.
You're
I
both wrong.
absolutely no. It is awesome. It is.
It's just like, oh, this card is a higher level than this card. It's like
Yeah, but-
it's like a slightly complicated version of War. You're just like, oh, mine's better.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that
but it has
doesn't
all
sound
the
as
different
fun.
effects. You have spies. You have things that boost others. So you depends on how you want to wait to use it.
Can I just say that War is not a real card game? It's just a waste of time.
War
Well, yeah.
rules.
Well, unless you're winning money and
War is
Why
the
would you
only-
ever bet money on War?
War is the
Oh,
only game.
all right. I
use.
guess it's no more or less luck than any of the other games. But like, I feel like poker and blackjack, you
for
can
someone
actually.
that just doesn't care, like that
two
just wants to
times-
go to the casino and have no thought process. Like,
Yeah, the 2 times I went to a casino,
21
that was my
requires-
game.
Really?
Yeah, it's so much fun. You just sit there. You don't have to feel like an idiot.
yeah, you just
You just are, and you sit.
Well,
everyone
it's-
else at the
but
table is an idiot.
as a game like poker or 21 that requires a lot of thinking, thought, percentages, things like that. So obviously, War would sound goofy to you, considering you would much rather play poker or 21. I'm guessing.
Well, no, I love not thinking about things. That's my favorite
Yeah,
pastime.
it's one of my
but
favorite activities.
What game could they reskin of this model that would get you excited? I know Matt's already excited about the Harry Potter one.
I'm not excited. I just think it'll be fun to
I'm
play
just
this
saying,
weekend.
is there
and then I'll
any?
forget about
Because
it.
we all play the Pokemon.
Pokemon is the ideal thing. You walk around, and they're animals, around the world, and if you're near, grassy area, you're gonna find grass Pokemon. You're near rock stuff, you're gonna find. It just works. It really works, and I don't really
I've
think
only
there's
really
a lot.
seen that with water, though.
No, but I mean, well, I've caught, like, when I was on a boat at one point, heading to Cape Cod. I had fish stuff.
That's what I mean. I only see that with water, really.
Yeah.
Like where it's like the different Pokemon in the different areas. But if we're in the
Yeah.
desert, maybe we will be. catching
Yeah.
some
So,
rock
but I just
Pokemon.
think it works. Like, I guess Minecraft is trying to make one, but I just
Oh, I
Yeah,
knew
that'll be
about the
interesting to
Minecraft
see.
dungeon. Are they doing a phone game too?
yeah, they're doing like some
They're
sort of
doing
phone
an
game,
AR phone game where you run
but
around.
I just think Pokemon works. Like, it just works.
There is one thing that if they reskinned this Pokemon game as something else, I will say again, just because I'm the target audience, but the audience is so small that they wouldn't do like Harry Potter's a huge audience. That's why they did that. Digimon, I would totally play a Digimon version of this
Digimon
game.
work, but I feel like that would just be the Pokemon people would cannibalize the
Oh
Digimon
no,
people.
that's why they wouldn't do
yeah.
it. I was just saying, what would they
Oh,
do
what
that would
would-
interest
oh.
you?
No,
And
nothing. I
Digimon
mean-
would interest me, but that's about it. Like,
Nintendo would be fun if like Nintendo just did one with like all their characters and
well,
stuff.
see, that's the thing. Harry Potter
You
isn't
kinda do
even
anything with it.
Harry Potter isn't even a game like Pokemon. That makes sense because you go around collecting Pokemon in general,
Yeah,
anyways.
so it works.
Harry Potter is not something where you do that.
Collect,
So
yeah.
technically, in this model, you could reskin it as anything. But I in my mind could not think how they would make that work because, I mean, the Harry Potter thing, it looks like you're just doing spells at things to collect stamps. Is
I
that
think
the general consensus?
There was a lot of talking in that like starter.
That woman
so
would not shut
I don't know
up.
what she wanted per se, but
I kept skipping over her
Andy's
just to make her
face is
voice
hysterical.
stop.
you know,
got both hands.
Do you
on
want me to
his
show
face.
you how to find the settings in this game?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm all set.
It is like through 5 submenus to make
Yeah,
her
probably
stop
because they don't want you
talking
to shut it
me.
off. I am all set with this game.
I'm not trying to make you play it.
I know.
I'm actually doing everything I can to make you not play it.
You have succeeded. I am not going to touch it. I was not interested in any way.
Well, here's another game I don't touch. NBA 2K19.
That is
sports.
For further reasons now.
Yeah, why? Why, Andy? Why won't you play it? I thought you loved basketball. I see you coming in with basketball jerseys all the time to work.
It is my third least favorite sport.
Don't attack baseball. I know you're going to attack
Baseball would be my second.
Yeah. No. Badminton?
NASCAR.
NASCAR is not a sport.
Um,
Vroom, vroom. All right, so back to NBA.
That's true.
It's not. You use a
Is
car.
it considered a sport?
It is for the NASCAR people, but
I don't have enough beer gut to watch NASCAR.
No.
I am like really hating on a lot of people tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
a
sorry.
little bit,
This is
you're trying
negative.
to kill our audience.
So-
here. What little audience we have?
NBA 2K19 came out last September, and people playing recently within the past week or so noticed that because there's a thing I didn't know existed called 2K TV, because 2K owns Rockstar, publishes Rockstar's games, right? That's 2K.
Take Two. Take Two owns everything.
I get them all confused.
Take Two owns 2K and Rockstar.
Okay, so it is all kind of the same
Yeah.
people.
Realm.
Okay. So they started doing this thing where during loading screens, which I didn't even know the NBA games really had any loading screens, they would start playing advertisements, commercials for TV shows on FX, some snow movie game, TV show. It's a TV show about, I think, drugs. I don't really know anything about the show. Anyways, they would notice during the loading screens, they would have advertisements for the shows, and even when it said game loaded at the bottom, you still
had to
can't
wait.
skip the ad. But you can turn the ads off.
do you get anything
It's
special?
it's not by default, but you can you can go into your settings and turn off 2K TV, and then you won't see the ads anymore, which I guess is fine. But the sheer fact that there's already a lot of ads in the sports games, and this seemed like kind of just an egregious push for one that is on by default.
Now, some games do. I know Capcom did their Street Fighter, and then I guess
yeah, they had the
Young
ads like,
Yao.
on the characters
yeah,
and stuff.
Young Yao did a whole thing about it, and it was like basically they throw advertisements on every part of their body. Like if they're on like the pictures of like their boxing gloves, like matches like in Super Smash, you'll see this person versus this person, and in their pose, they're like stamped everywhere, like boxing gloves.
Now-
They're if they have a bandana on their head, the bandanas, the shirt, everything. It's like
Question
logo
about that
overload.
game though. That happened pretty recently, right?
Correct.
Yes,
Isn't that game like 3 years old?
Super
Yeah,
Smash.
it was.
No, the
I mean,
Street Fighter game.
yes.
that
Yeah, it was a little
happened.
bit older when it happened, but also you could turn them off, but they incentivized you to keep them on. You would earn more points.
That's what they're doing with this too.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I was
You
gonna ask
you earn in-game currency if you keep 2K TV on or watch things on 2K TV. But also, I think it's a similar situation because this game came out in September and the
so
new one's
dirty.
coming out this September. So this is them trying to squeeze that last little bit of juice out of the people who either aren't going to buy the new one right away or are, just about done with it.
But what I don't understand is they can make the thing with sports games is you can make it immersive with real advertisements in the hockey game around the border.
All
like
of the sports games, yeah.
Well, yeah, but all the sports games like hockey is perfect, where the outer part of the boards actually has advertisements on it,
Like a
And
real hockey rink would.
But it works. And then on top of that, like basketball just recently had, I guess this year they have advertisements on their jersey. Throw it on their jersey. Throw a small one on their jersey, and people pay it. So you're getting in-game advertising, but it works. It's immersive.
Yeah.
NASCAR. I mean, well, it's not a sport, but anyway.
I mean, I've been
it's
seeing
on
those
the car.
things since the 90s. When I was playing Jet Moto, I would notice that Mountain Dew sign every time I passed by. Did anybody else play Jet Moto but me?
No,
I played the demo.
Yeah, there's
That
other,
demo made me buy the game.
there are other games that have implemented real advertising in the game. Like Bionic Commando actually had like a Pepsi sign. So at one point when you're like swinging through the world, there was a giant Pepsi sign. Of course, I sat there and kind of was like, "Oh wow, that's neat." But it works for some things. But when you throw it in your face in an unskippable ad, that's irritating. You already
Yeah.
paid $60 for it.
And it's not like
free-to-play
they're
phone game.
Yeah,
ad.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
and they're
if-
not really making it known, like well known that you can turn it off. There's a bunch of people tweeting at 2K like really pissed about it, which justifiably they paid $60 for a full game and now they're being forced to
Can't
watch
we just
commercials.
play a game? Do they have to keep
Yeah.
nickel and diming us till the end of time?
Because it's just a matter of time before they start trying to shove that into games like Grand Theft Auto or something like that.
That's
Like,
what I'm
right
worried
now,
about.
it's just like now NBA is obviously not something that's targeted at me. I don't play any of the sports games because they're not really like I would play Madden if the quality was better.
Yeah, or if they change
honestly.
it all, it's just this.
Yeah.
you're paying $60 for a new
Yeah.
roster, basically.
Yeah, instead of
Tiny
like
That's why you
updates.
wait like 5 years and you're like, wow, all right, this is actually worth it. Not every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, like I would pay $5 for Madden 20 if the quality was better. But
I'm tempted to buy the 2 years.
how it seems like sports games and those types of games, like Street Fighter was honestly kind of a curveball because I wouldn't expect that from Capcom. But
well, that's when Capcom was real. They were like at the
they're
tail
on the
end.
upswing now. Yeah,
They're very much on the upswing, but that was when they were just at the final end of all their issues. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, content is on the disc, but you
Yeah.
need to pay to unlock it." Like
like
all
right now it's just on the sports games because they probably think like, oh, real gamers don't play sports games, let's just put them in the sports games. But it's just a matter of time before all of a sudden you're in Grand Theft Auto and you're forced to watch like a movie trailer during a loading screen or something like that. Also, if you're listening, FX, I highly doubt anybody is watching your show more often because you popped it into NBA 2K19. If you see a bump in ratings, by all means keep doing it. I'm just saying.
Don't keep doing it.
Highly doubt it.
Do not promote
Well,
that.
on their end, I think 2K should stop putting it in there on a game that they're making people pay $60 for a game that, again, like Matt just said, has just a new roster. It's not like they really do anything to those games.
I don't mind
you know?
also like if
travesty.
you actually have to have a loading screen and you just want to have a Gatorade symbol spin until it's ready, fine, sure.
Yeah, the commercial. I think it was the fact that now it's like a moving commercial ad. It did see it, like you said again, Matt. It made it seem like a phone game. It was like really egregious, you know.
Yeah, I just want to relax. Like I usually when I'm watching TV or Hulu or something like that, I'll put it on mute. I hate commercials so much. I'll just mute it entirely until the commercials are over. I don't want to have to be doing that with video games
Yeah,
now. Like,
no.
oh, I got to mute it for the next 60 seconds for this thing to load.
He makes sure
On this
everybody
game I
knows too.
bought.
Like if we're watching Hulu with him, he'll make sure to be like, "We're not listening to those commercials." Everybody, I just want to let you know.
Good.
But I clap when you
Yeah.
do that because I agree.
Commercials are the worst. They get louder. Like their sound quality is like worse on purpose so that they can just make it louder. And then it's just so disruptive and they're so condescending. Just tell me what you want me to buy. Don't put some
Yeah.
10 out of 10 woman and dude trying to sell me stuff.
I understand on a free-to-play game.
Yep.
This was a full price, an undeserved full price game, I assume. And again, I don't play the game. It might be awesome to all the people who love basketball. But I
Don't throw that in.
don't like basketball.
Yep.
And if I did like basketball, I wouldn't want something like that in a game I paid $60 for.
I'm glad that
Even
the-
if I can turn it off.
But I'm glad the basketball people imagine if they did this and all the basketball people were like, oh yeah, that's fine. Because
I'm glad there was an uprising.
Exactly. So I meant like with FIFA and all that. Like if those people didn't do it, then it's like, oh crap. They're gonna say
Yeah,
they're
didn't
gonna.
FIFA do something similar recently?
Well, FIFA has the issue with the
loot
the
packs.
Madden
Loot,
packs.
that's
Yeah,
right.
which no, they're
Yeah.
not. They're,
So-
guys,
we
they're
forgot
not-
about that.
They're
That
not-
came out.
guys. They're not loot boxes. They're
Surprise!
surprise mechanics.
Okay, I forgot to mention that we should probably talk about that. How hilarious is it that they're trying to make that into like some sort of like?
Well, not only that, the lady didn't even believe herself. She looked down at her mouth like, "Did I just
Well,
say that?"
She was also, in all honesty, hired to say that. It's not
She
like
didn't even believe it. Look at her face.
no, and
after
it's-
she said it.
it's because she doesn't. It's not like she wants like
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody is blaming
she
that
was defending
lady.
the actions in Parliament or something like that.
Yeah, I'm
British
sure
Parliament.
EA hired her as a legal consultant or a lawyer to go in and talk for them. I don't like.
It was just funny to see her
She
face.
did not come up with those words that came out of her
No,
mouth.
she was reading off a bit, but it was just funny. Like her face looked like
Yeah.
exactly
But
like.
for those of you who have not heard, EA recently, I think it was in London or at least the UK, were trying to pass off. They're trying to do kind of like here in some of our states. They're trying to do loot box litigation in the UK, and EA trying to defend themselves were comparing loot boxes to those little Kinder eggs, and they decided to call them surprise mechanics. And wow, social media went on a killing spree with that one.
The thing about Kinder Eggs is you get a toy worth, whatever, 50 cents every time, and they're different, and they're kind of cool. Like, that would be fine, but you don't get that with loot boxes. You get, like, you want to get the thing that's rare, that's you're not going to get, that, has a 0.5 drop rate.
Well,
I think that's what either they did or they're trying to make it so that you see the percentage chance of getting certain items in the loot boxes. I didn't actually look this up before.
Yeah,
but
they
it
have-
is
you have to
kinda-
do that in some
Podcast.
territories.
but if you think about it,
not
what
here
is
yet.
what is a pack of Pokemon cards? What is a pack of whatever? They are something, and it does make you think like, oh crap, maybe this is gambling in some way. Like, but those are
Yeah.
gambling too. Like they would have
But
to.
also,
but it's
I'm
gambling.
paying-
You don't know what you're gonna get.
I know that I'm paying $4 for 8 cards plus 1 holographic card. in each of those Pokemon packs. In each of the Yu-Gi-Oh packs, I know I'm paying $4 for 9 cards plus at least one rare card.
Well, yeah, but they could do that. They do that with Hearthstone. They do it digitally. They just do it like you're guaranteed one rare.
I could go on Apex and pay money for a loot box and get 3 common items or a legendary item. It could be absolutely anything. I have no idea what the chances are, where at least the Pokemon cards I'm guaranteed to get one thing in there. Now, there's a lot of gray area. You're right, though.
Yeah,
you're technically right.
Well, it didn't even. It made me think like, oh crap!
Any arcade that pops out tickets.
Yeah, that's skill based at that point. So Andy, you should know that. You freaking ruined that game. That thing.
There was this game where like I was moving this like thing back and forth and trying to stack. It was like Tetris, where you were trying to.
I think it was tower blocks or tower.
It was like I was
something.
stacking blocks, and for some reason I was just really boss at it. What was the max tickets that it would dispense?
250, and you won it 3 times.
Yeah,
in like
I was boss at that
15
game.
minutes.
That game took skill.
We should have.
Well, like those ones where you just pop the tokens in and hope that it'll push the other tokens out. Like that's all.
But that is gambling. That is.
Well, that's what I mean.
I mean, they even use it in gambling. Like they have the quarters instead of like the tokens.
Yeah,
it's the same game.
So I mean, it is a slippery slope. I think for some video games is on the forefront because it's it is all digital too.
Now, question: how do you guys actually feel about like getting a random like box of loot in a game? It does like kind of give you a little excitement, especially when I play Hearthstone. And I open a pack, and now in Hearthstone they do, before you flip the cards, they show if it's a certain rarity, it'll highlight in that color. So like if you they're face down, and then when it pops up, it'll be purple or orange or blue, and it's like, oh my god, I got like a
because it releases dopamine. It's the same thing they do at casinos when you win big on the jackpot and all the lights go off and you're like, I can be that person,
in certain games, I actually enjoy the fight to get, or not, I shouldn't call it the fight, the grind to get certain items. Like Assassin's Creed, I think it was an overload too much of like, oh, I'm guaranteed this legendary or whatever. So I never felt like getting a legendary item in Assassin's Creed Odyssey was like a whoa moment. It was just like, in Diablo, when I opened a chest and like everything flew out and you saw all that loot and colors and stuff, and it was like, oh wow, that's awesome. So I actually like that at the end.
In Apex Legends, there's a bunch of loot boxes that you can get just while you're playing the game. While you're leveling up, you get some free ones, and then you get a couple free ones during the battle pass. And it's exciting and fun when you get them, but 95 times out of 100, I'm just super disappointed because it's just garbage items that I'm not going to use, that aren't good for any characters that I like to use, or they're for a weapon I don't like to use. So I would never actually buy any of those.
Most of them are. Even like the nicer ones are kind of garbage in Apex right now.
Exactly.
Anyways.
So I mean, even you can buy for $1. You can buy, I think it's like $1 for each Apex pack, and I can't imagine ever wanting to. But you see on forums, there's this one rare set of items that I think is like it's a insignificant chance to drop.
Is that the Wraith item?
Yeah. So it's like this Wraith heirloom set, and I believe after you get 500 Apex packs, you're guaranteed to get it by then. That's how uncommon it is. So you see these threads of people spending, $300, $400, $500 on these stupid Apex packs to get a single item for one character.
They are killing.
It's insane.
This is they're the ones causing the problem with the DLC.
Well, it's also they also might have a gambling addiction.
Yeah, I mean, if they at least had that item in the store, every few months it said, "Oh, here, just throw us $10 or $20 and you can get it that way." At least that would be more defensible. But to say, oh, you could get it, or you could just keep giving us money until you maybe finally get it.
I feel like those games too should, on top of giving you like items, I feel like how cool would that be in Apex if they actually had like random treasure chests around the map that actually gave you, like, you got a free pack of stuff.
That'd be terrifying.
Terrifying?
Just seeing like people fight over them and.
Well, they're random. They're hidden. Like you open a chest or something, or you like, hey, you've earned a pack. Like, hey, cool.
So going back to your original question, does that excite me? I will say it depends on the game and what kind of loot is in the game. So, for instance, like Matt was saying in Apex, like not only did Apex not drop really anything, Apex was also a free-to-play game. So maybe that's a little more why
a little more
they do that.
Can give them a little more of a pass.
Yeah. And any free-to-play game, I can more or less give them a pass for that because at least like you're not paying any money to give them more money. It's all choice. But a game like Overwatch, which I've brought up multiple, even though I haven't played it in months, I've brought it up multiple times defending it, because here's a game that I paid $60 for that has also given me loads and loads and loads of free content. But also, I will say, they give me a lot of chances each week to get free loot boxes, and every time there's an event, they automatically give me a few free loot boxes, and the free ones that they give at the beginning of each event are guaranteed to have like a few legendary items in it. Not to mention the drop rates, even in the regular loot boxes, are pretty good.
Hearthstone does that too.
But that's also a game I paid $60 for. That's probably why maybe they tweaked it a little bit to make it a little more fair or exciting. They even stopped when the events happen. They originally made it so you can get normal stuff in the event loot boxes, and they even changed that after the first event to you can only get event items in the event loot boxes, just to guarantee that you're going to only get the event stuff, like, because it's only available for a limited time. So they heighten the chances of that. But I do get excited every time, because, you know, again, the whole casino thing, the bright lights, and when you open an Overwatch pack, you know right away whether or not you got something a legendary or an epic because of the color, and it would I think the music gets louder too.
Oh yeah.
But the stuff in there, they have better cosmetics and it drops quicker and more frequently. Whereas Apex, you don't get the drops often enough, and they suck mostly.
True.
Except for that one Bloodhound skin that you and I both already have, where he's wearing like the samurai outfit. That's pretty
I have
boss.
two.
Yeah. But you don't have the game anymore, so what does it matter?
I can get it anytime I want. It's free.
That's true. It is free. But yeah, I don't know. So I will say at least for the NBA 2K thing, even though it's not by default or anything, you can turn it off. I will say that. Like, I know I don't want to, I'm not trying to defend them or anything, but like there is that option to turn off. But
I mean, you're not going to turn it off if you're getting free
that's
stuff.
the-
Like
they
I
give you
would
the
be
incentive.
feel so discouraged from turning it off just because I would want the maximum amount of.
I don't know if you
Stuff.
get currency from keeping the ads on. I think you get currency by actually going into 2K TV and watching shows through that. I don't think the ads are actually giving you anything, but I could be wrong. I didn't really look too hard into it. But also, I don't think it should just be default, because most people probably wouldn't know that they could
absolutely.
turn it off, and I'd be pretty
Good job,
pissed.
2K fans, for finding
Yeah.
that out and bringing it to everyone's attention.
Something I wanted to mention that a friend of you and I's, I was talking to him recently, and so I wrote down notes for this on the same notepad that I wrote down some notes for work, and then I needed them for work, and I brought the notebook to work, and I don't have all the notes in front of me, but I want to talk about GamerGoo.
Oh Jesus!
Well, specifically, all right. So our friend Alex Panunsky, he's going to he goes to conventions and he actually competes at conventions. I think again, Alex, if you do listen to this podcast, I'm getting all these details wrong. I'm completely sorry, but GamerGoo like actually offered to like kind of sponsor him almost. Like, here's free product for like playing in this tournament and stuff like that.
It's so weird and unnecessary.
It's like goop you put on your hands if your hands get dry or clammy while playing video games.
Ooh.
Everyone thinks this is a good idea except me. I think it's weird.
I
My
didn't say
hands
anything.
my hands do sweat.
I have no opinion.
To the point where my PlayStation
GamerGoo did not sponsor this podcast.
my
But you can.
PlayStation 4, you know the sticker on the back that has like the scan thing that people like when you turn it in, people check that. Mine on every PlayStation 4 controller that I've used for a long time peels off because I sweat so much on that part.
Mine
Sorry
is
if that's
not
gross, but
peeling off, but the colors.
nope,
going
it's
away.
peeled off, and
Oh.
I've had it like less than a year. So I have to like sometimes I have to like wipe my hand on my pants just to.
I do notice that when I'm playing video games for a long time, I do wash my hands once an hour because I feel like they get.
Oh yeah,
clammy.
grimy and yeah.
I would not buy a product to solve that, but it did remind me of a really neat anecdote about this controller that I bought a few times because it kept breaking. It was a PS2 controller. It was an off-brand PS2.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna
controller.
say the regular one was really good,
But it was a fatter one, and it had like on the grips, it had like think of like a waffle fry.
yeah.
But it had like those type of holes, and you could turn a fan on.
You've lost me. I want waffle fries. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And there was a fan you could turn on and would blow air through those holes on the grip. And it was really cool, and I bought it twice, and I think it broke both times just because I dropped it slightly, but that also probably means it was not well manufactured.
So it's not meant for the angry gamer.
I thought it was really cool that our friend is kind of being sponsored. Like him and his friends played well enough in these tournaments where the GamerGoo people are like, hey, we want to like, hey, come play in these tournaments for free, and we'll give you free product and stuff like that. It was just kind of a cool thing. I wish I could remember more details, but again,
Well, you can talk to him.
past
this
Andy
week.
left his notebook
Way to go, past Andy.
at work because he thought work was more important than video games, which is false.
Truth.
It's very false. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't buy a product.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never
For
had
that.
any issue with like
I
that.
mean, depending
but
on how
it
cheap it is, if
seems-
it's $6, I'd be interested. But
I mean, just see if you search on Google Gamer Goo, it's the first thing that comes up. I think the name's funny.
it
The name is
sounds
funny.
Awful.
Alliteration with the G's. I think that's neat.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh, I wonder if that was on purpose. The alliteration is GG, good game. I wonder if that was a thing. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure I'm just like, that's just a
I think you're
conspiracy
bullshitting
theory.
on this one, yeah.
I don't want to talk about Gamer Go anymore.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Was he the one that came up with the topic this week?
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. I was about to segue into it.
What is that topic? I thought Alex was the one that. Alex did not give you this topic.
Alex
No.
is none of
Okay.
us.
Alex isn't on the podcast.
I know, but I thought. Okay, go ahead. Yay. Transition.
This was me. No, I came up with it this morning when I realized it was my week for a topic and I didn't come up with anything.
It was a good topic.
So our general discussion topic this week, I thought it would be neat to talk about games that we love that either other people don't love or maybe other people just don't know about. And we're going to talk about
cool.
that right after this break. That's where an ad would have been if we were sponsored.
We're not sponsored.
No, we're not.
I could.
Goodbye, Gamer Goo.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
could. Use
I
some
shouldn't.
Game
I
Goo.
shouldn't put that in there. They didn't give us any money.
No,
but
we shouldn't.
But they could sponsor us and our 30 regular viewers, listeners.
Listeners,
We love you. Please don't stop.
tell other people.
So I got 3 games that I wrote down. for this
3?
segment. How many did you have, Dan?
I have
1,
2.
2. Matt had 3.
A lot.
Really?
Let's stick it to 3. I'll
can
find
do 3.
another one.
No, I had trouble with the definition of this category. 'Cause I
I
couldn't-
Well,
explained
it's a game
very
that,
well.
Yeah, a game only you like, or it didn't like
Nobody
review
knows
well,
about it.
and or it's not advertised very well. So it could be a good game, just not a lot of people.
I don't
played
know.
It.
Aladdin was out in theaters, and I thought
Oh,
of
I think you meant the
Diamond
game.
and I thought of Diamond in the Rough because of Aladdin, and
Oh, ha ha.
then I thought of this category.
a
Actually,
good one. I like it. I
Actually,
like
I
it.
thought of this category, and then on the way here, I'm like, oh, I could have synced it up with Aladdin somehow, but Aladdin came out like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't see it because it looked bad. So I'll go first. So
Do you want to do one each and then keep going around? Or
Yeah.
do you, okay.
around the horn. I still have not looked up what that means.
It's your homework this week,
I
along with
I
Soma.
found out what the hotcakes thing was, so I feel like I
Alright.
should also look up what
Yeah,
the
you
horn
should.
thing was. I
Yeah.
told you guys about
You
what
owe
the
it.
hotcakes thing
You
was,
did.
right? Okay.
You did.
So my first one, which one do I want to do? I'll do this one because I've actually talked about it on the podcast before. Now, I initially, for like most of my life, thought that nobody else really knew about this game because I never heard anybody else talk about it when they talked about classic NES games. But it's on the NES Classic. So I don't know if that just means Nintendo ran out of non-licensed games that they could put on the NES Classic and this one was really cheap, or I don't think people were begging for it, to be honest, because like I said, nobody else talks about it. Star Tropics.
I was just gonna say that. Okay.
So
You
Star
actually
Tropics
inspired me to my third game. So yeah, go ahead.
Star Tropics was my Zelda game before I knew what Zelda games were. It was dungeon crawling and fighting monsters, and each dungeon had its own item, and it was so poorly translated. But I didn't know that because I was. All right, number 1, I would ask a man before peeling off the sticker off his game. Number 2, that makes noise during the podcast, which you're already bad about, Dan. I don't want people to think I'm yelling at Matt.
I've done nothing wrong.
No.
I'm a perfect little boy.
He
You
did.
are.
He dangled this game box in front of my face
Okay.
with a sticker on it.
Okay.
That needs to be
Just-
peeled
just
off.
saying.
Anyway, go ahead.
I don't peel the plastic off of your earphones without asking. I
You
leave it on
probably
there and
could.
make fun of you.
Well, I figured it would make his game look prettier.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, anyways, it was my Zelda game before I got into Zelda because it is a lot like Zelda. Even the NES Zelda is a lot more polished than this game is, but it also meant a lot to me because I got it brand new. Had I known what value was back then, I probably wouldn't have opened it, but I got it brand new in like 94, 95, like way past the NES era. I got it for Christmas along with a brand new Mega Man 6, which is also one of my favorite games. And just nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it. I'd love to meet other people who do have fond memories of this game. I'm thoroughly enjoying reliving it. Actually, I had it on the NES Classic, and then for some reason didn't play it. But then I got that free edition of Switch Online and played it on that. And said, yeah, that's another thing. It was one of the first games they put on the Switch Online free game. So I don't know. Maybe it is very popular, and I'm just like unaware. But nobody, like you guys, never heard of it before I talked about it, right?
There is
No.
one game in my memory that I don't remember like the name of it, but I
And-
played
but-
something.
Yeah,
And all I remember is like
yeah.
you like talk to a whale or something. And
This
then,
one you talk to a dolphin,
okay, so I don't.
and I think
this
I
is
showed
it.
you screenshots, and you
And
said it wasn't the game.
Yeah, I don't think it was, but
We've had that conversation many times.
Yes, so because
But anyways, I love Star Tropics. If you have the NES Classic or if you have the Switch Online, try it out. It's actually the translation is the dialogue's very funny. Like it's very bad, and it switches between like when you go into the dungeons, you turn into like a different. It's like a different type of game, kind of like Zelda 2, where like around the world you're like this little mini icon, but then when you go into like the kind of attacking areas, you
it's like
turn into a
Zelda.
bigger sprite with the side scrolling. But that's my first one. What's yours, Matt?
My first one is Rogue Galaxy.
Is that the game that you physically have in front of us right
is
now?
That I was
Physically
trying to
manual.
peel the sticker
It
off.
has a manual. Oh
It
my
does
god,
have a
I miss
manual.
these.
Yeah, so that game,
Manuals make noise.
it got decent reviews. I think it was somewhere around like 8 out of 10 on
You're
Metacritic.
right. You're right, Dan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm listening.
It's basically like Star Wars or Firefly. If you've ever seen that television
looks
show,
like
you're
a
you're
pirate
space
ship.
pirate.
I
Yeah,
love-
you're a
I
space
love
pirate. So
Firefly.
it's like Firefly. You're a space pirate. You start off as this
Literal though, space pirate because it's a
Yes,
pirate ship.
There's a giant flying pirate ship
Oh.
that goes through space, so it's funny in that respect. But yeah, you're just like this little kid from this little dumb planet that no one cares about, and then like, ooh, all of a sudden you become this big important guy, and you go away with all these, these pirates on this trip, and you get to go on adventures, and you have to go all these different worlds.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring this up again, but I feel like the flipping of the manual adds ambient sound that is crucial to what we're talking about, as opposed to Dan peeling off the sticker, which was just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, so you
Just
play as-
trying to defend myself. So go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so you play as this guy named Jaster. You're like a young 17, 18-year-old kid. You meet up with these sky pirates.
Skyrates?
Skyrates, sure. And, it's just one of those, small, you have to turn, this small mission turns into saving the world, saving the galaxy business. And it's pretty fun. It's kind of similar to, maybe a Final Fantasy X or a Dark Cloud 2 if you ever played that. It's made by Level 5 Games. They actually made the Dark Cloud series. They have like an interesting leveling up system. So you level up just like you would in any other RPG, but they also have this
Turn-based?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have this Revelation Flow, which is essentially the same thing as a sphere grid from FF10 or that sphere grid from 12. It's actually almost more similar to that because once you get you have to find these items that drops from enemies, and once you get enough of them, you can get like a skill, and then you can follow that on the path.
Oh, this was
to the
actually a
next skill.
Sony Computer Entertainment game specifically.
Yeah.
So like Sony had a hand in developing this.
Yeah, and it actually came out after the PS3 came out, which is kind of one of the reasons why I don't think a ton of people have heard about it or played it much. I think it came out, 2 or 3 months after that, so everyone was kind of moving on. The 360 at that point had been out for a year, maybe.
So it's a newer PS2.
Yeah, so it's a PlayStation 2 game that came out kind of at the very tail end.
Weird to think that was like 13 years ago, though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Don't remind me.
And I didn't buy it until I think maybe a year or two after it came out because I was trying to find games that were similar to Dark Cloud 2 because I had so much fun with that game, and I looked up, what game's similar to that? And they're like, here's this game made by the same company, came out 2 years after Dark Cloud 2 or whatever, and so I gave it a shot, and it's a ton of fun.
Yeah. I might actually want to play that too. I had to add it to the list.
Yeah, you can actually, it's on PS2, you can actually, they released it for PS4, so I think it's $15 on that shop too. If anyone's interested,
Well,
definitely.
I also know
recommend it.
you, and you live here.
True.
And I'm looking at it. So
I'm just saying
probably
for-
just going to take your
for-
disc and put
For
it
the
in my
dozens of
PS2.
people that are listening to this, if they're interested,
That's true.
you should get.
Yeah, if you like
should-
turn-based RPGs like Dark Cloud 2.
Yeah, put it on your wish list. I'm sure it'll be on sale for.
It's really so. Was it like graphically? Because it was at the tail end
Yeah,
of
it
the PS2.
probably looked pretty good.
Does it look a little better compared to like early PS2 games? You think?
Yeah, it definitely looks very good. It's a big open world. I mean, you go to all these different colorful looking planets that are all different looking. I would put it on par with Final Fantasy X and
Yeah.
Dark Cloud 2, which a lot of people don't think of Rogue Galaxy when they think of Final Fantasy quality games, Final Fantasy X or anything like that.
Yeah, it actually looks like graphically. I would say it looks
pretty good
Like
for
early
it. Actually,
PS3 game?
it actually looks like an early PS3 game, to be honest.
That's impressive.
Like,
I mean, at that point,
I
not
haven't
only that,
played
it's
it, so maybe I'm looking at the manual.
made
I
by
don't know.
Sony too. So at that point, they really knew how to.
I
use
don't know
their
if
system.
me looking at like this is like looking at an NES cartridge case or something where it looks nothing like what you're getting in the 8-bit
I'm sure
game.
those are screenshots.
No,
on that.
but I mean,
Yeah,
like
It's kind of stylized. It has like it's slightly cel shaded look to it. It's not super realistic, but it looks really cool.
kind of reminds me of a Tales game the way it looks.
Yeah, it does.
But-
It does
I
kind
can
of have
see
a
that.
similar
yeah.
style to that.
All right, Dan. What's your first one?
My first one is a very, 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 very odd game called Deadly Premonition.
I know that game.
Okay, you know it, but you know,
Yeah.
do you know a lot about it? It wasn't very
Is that the survival horror type one?
sort of.
I just know
haven't
it
played
because I know you and I know my friend Sarah, and I'm pretty sure Matt's brought it up too. But like, I don't think a lot of people know about it.
Okay, I was gonna say
I mean, I
this
haven't
fits,
played
right? I was
Yeah.
gonna say this should fit.
Sure. Do you hear a lot of people talking about it?
No.
Then it fits.
So it is a very weird game. You play as an FBI special agent whose name is Francis York Morgan, and believe me, they use that whole name for the entire thing. It is
I
very.
already love this game based on that one piece of information.
Everybody refers to him as Francis York Morgan. Like nobody says like Francis or just like Morgan. They just like
They
Francis
say it
York
like a
Morgan.
weird tone, or just
Yeah,
York
it's
Morgan.
the audio is so awkward, but the story like on why this town is pretty much going to shit is what drove me through it. It plays like a bad Resident Evil 4 game. It's over the shoulder, but like the enemies are weird. Like when you walk up to the enemy, they look like people like kind of with really sickly skin, but they have like no eyes.
Was this a well-received game?
No.
Oh, but you like it?
I love the story, and it plays rough. Like it's a rough game. It's janky. It's a bit weird. It's very floaty. It plays like a poor man's Resident Evil 4.
Well, that's how. Again, Star Tropics is a poor
Yeah,
man's
so
Zelda.
it's a
It plays
poor
little
man's
funkier.
Resident Evil
Yeah.
4 with more of like a psychological part. But like I said, the first enemy that you see in the corner, she's like hunched over looking at something, and when you walk closer to her, she starts to get up, and you're thinking that she's going to turn and just walk towards you like a normal enemy. No, she bends over backwards and starts walking towards you.
That's. I
And-
know that.
yes,
That just,
and
you
ins-
describing that right there is like that's
And
what I know.
instead
about
of
the
like
game.
biting you or slashing at you, they try and stick their hand in your mouth. It's weird. Like I said, it's a weird game. But
It's like
because
Silent Hill off-putting.
yeah, but it's like Silent Hill, they're trying to kill you or they're trying to like, cut you to, do that. They're trying to stick your hand. And they try and like.
I'm
choke
more
you that
talking
way.
about the like psychological stuff in Silent Hill, like when you have all those doors. There's just like a lot of weird crap in the doors.
Yeah, it's just weird. But anyway, like at one point, like because it's called Deadly Premonition, like at one point he goes to like this hotel and this old lady runs it. Nobody's in the hotel. You're like the only guest, so she's like basically catering to you. But like he gets his coffee in the morning, and the whole joke is he always gets premonitions from his coffee. So he'll look in his coffee and be like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna see this today." And he also, which also is funny as heck, he talks to himself. Like he has like a split personality. And he so at one point when you're shooting at an enemy with the gun, if you get a headshot, his alternate personality comments on his shot saying, "Nice shot." It's really weird, but it was really funny. Like the actual detective part of it was what drove me to beat it.
You beat a game?
I did beat a game, and it was also weird too because it was one of the first, from what I know, open world like horror games. But they added like first of all the driving mechanics were atrocious, and also you had gas.
I'm gonna play that every time I found out you beat a game.
Oh Jesus!
Anyway, so
It's not gonna happen often, Matt. If that makes you feel better.
I beat Rage 2. Okay. Anyway, but so at one point, yeah, so somehow they decided to throw in that you actually have gas in this game too. So if you run out of gas, you have to walk a crazy amount.
Honest to God, thought you meant farts.
Days
Yes.
Gone.
Yeah, but Days Gone, at least they
I'm not
they
saying
did that
that
as like
to
a
be funny. I
this
did
like
think
there's
you
no
were
enemies
doing
in the
that.
world. So like if you run out of gas, it's just a chore. Like at this point, like if there's enemies that could kill you or whatever, like crap, I died. I ran out of gas and they were horde. Nope, this is just you have to run to the next area, and it's like it's like trying to run across a map in Skyrim. It's just like, oh my god. But just the story itself and the murders that happen around the map were very, very interesting. And it's just like I said, it's a poor man's Resident Evil 4.
What can you play this on?
You can play this. It's actually one of the games that got Xbox One enhanced, so
Is it
you
a
can play.
360 or an original Xbox game?
No, it's a 360, and they also made a director's cut edition on the PlayStation 3.
Oh, cool.
So,
So here's the thing. I was about to talk about a game, but then while you were talking, I randomly thought like Deadly Premonition for whatever reason reminded me of a different game that I think is a better Diamond in the Rough game / game
better
that-
than Deadly Premonition?
just
No, we
better,
haven't
no,
played it, so-
better than the one that was on my list.
Oh, Star Tropic? Okay, go for it.
No, the one that was on my list that I was going to talk about was Kirby and the Crystal Shards because that is super fun, and I guess I found out that nobody likes it for whatever reason, or like
I can never get into any of the Kirby games. They just
Kirby
seem too
games always come
simple.
out at the tail end of the systems. Like this came out for the N64, like right before the GameCube came out. Like the joke is when a Kirby game comes out on a system, that's
The end of its
the
life.
signal that it's life. I mean, Kirby Robo whatever came out on the 3DS like a couple years ago,
Oh.
right at the end of it coming out. To my knowledge, no mainstay Kirby games have come out on the Switch yet.
So he
we're safe.
sucks the life out of the system?
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Golf clap. That's what I was going to talk about. But instead, I randomly remembered about Master of Orion 2, which I can't blame people for not liking it because it was a Windows 95 PC turn-based strategy game, which I don't really think are too popular to begin with.
No, not necessarily.
So
hitting up right
I
with
have
the Call of
very
Duty,
fond
isn't it?
memories of my dad and his friends used to do this thing every Memorial Day where they would do a LAN party with this game. So I have very fond memories of playing this game, and I actually bought it recently. It's still on Steam. Like you can buy it for like $5 or $6 on Steam. So I actually bought it recently. It's a really hard game. There's a huge learning curve to the game that I was not remembering. I guess it's one of those ones where like the manual was the size of a novel that my dad had for this game. But
Yeah, I
it's
did not have the
really
patience
fun.
for those kind of games.
It's a space conquest. It's like Age of Empires in space. So you have your fleet, you're exploring planets, you're terraforming them, you're taking them over. You have other factions, depending on the difficulty, depends on how big the star system is. It's like not star system in a 3D space, which is like a 2D plane of a star system, and you're exploring planets, but also either making deals with other races for them not to screw you over, or possibly just attacking them straight up. It's one of those ones where you would just keep hitting the turn button until something happened to gain resources, and then maybe eventually you use them to attack someone or find another planet or whatever. But it's kind of like a 90s.
He's reaching.
I was gonna say Sky High. That's not the name of the game. What's
He's trying to
the
get help from two people that have not played this game.
Yeah.
No,
Heard
what's
of
the
it.
name of the game that came out recently that was really crappy until they fixed it?
No Man's
No Man's
Sky?
Sky?
No Man's Sky. It was a 95 version of No Man's Sky where it was procedurally generated, and then you went out and explored. You didn't know what you were going to find.
Ah,
But
interesting.
not as exciting because you're not, actually on the planets walking around and doing stuff. But it was really fun. I have very fond memories of the game. I've never heard a single soul talk about it other than my dad. And unfortunately, they did make a Master of Orion's 3 in probably like 2009 or 10. It wasn't well received, and I guess they were remaking it as just a new franchise recently, but I doubt it's going to be any good. It's traded developers multiple times. So kind of like a la, Duke Nukem Forever. It's probably just one of those things that's going to be abolished when it comes out. But so I guess I kind of talked about both of the games there. I'm sorry, I tapped and then Matt burped,
What? I did no such thing.
but I was tapping on the table like
I'm the one finally not
just
making the
making
noise.
stuff up, man.
yeah. I was tapping on the table like Dan always
breathed in.
does. No, thank you. Call
Bad
me out
Andy.
on that.
Bad
It
Andy.
is bad. I shouldn't be doing
I'm
that.
kidding.
So I accidentally talked about 2 games there, but I decided to trade Kirby for Masters of Orion. But Matt,
That's
what's your next one?
So I was going to say Zombie U. Zombie U was a launch game for the Wii U system that everyone bought.
Can I
I do.
make
own-
a
No one
statement
bought the Wii U.
about how Nintendo constantly doesn't know how to name some of their games? Although did they even make that game? Is that a Nintendo game?
That's a Ubisoft game.
Okay. In general, Nintendo games are named poorly. New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe U redo. You?
but YOU the second time.
Go on.
Yeah, so it was a launch game for the Wii system, and I would say maybe this and Super Mario Maker were the only two games that actually used that gamepad in kind of an interesting, cool way. Like, you were this game set in London. It's a zombie apocalypse. You're trying to escape London.
Get a cricket bat.
Yeah, so you use the pad for all sorts of things. Like it'll be your map. You'll see like enemies around, and they'll be kind of like blinking red, and you'll use it as your inventory too. So you'll have to go into your inventory and like check stuff up. And all while this is happening, there could be zombies coming towards you, so you have to worry about what's happening on screen. And you can use it for, I haven't played it in a while, but you can use it for puzzles and things like that too. So it was a really neat, cool functionality.
I just assumed that's what every game used the Wii Pad for. I didn't own a Wii U, but didn't every game use it for inventory management and like little stupid stuff?
I don't think most
stuff.
of them used it for just like dumb maps and stuff. This like was really, from what I'm remembering,
More
it was
intuitive,
definitely
more
more.
used
Yeah,
better.
it was used a lot more often, and it was more like, oh, this game couldn't be on any other system. Although
Even though Zombie, came out.
they
to
did
PS4
eventually
later.
port it to PS4 and Xbox One.
I mean,
like,
that's
a
a
few
lot of
years
the
later.
issues with the Wii U in general was developers had a tough time developing for it because of that dual screen mentality. And also, they couldn't that's probably why some of the games had bad functionalities because they also had to market it on other systems probably. Not that the Wii U was having launch games with other systems.
So
but
I was actually looking it up. They actually didn't not make money off this game. That's probably one of the reasons why they had to release it on different systems, and why when they had Rayman Legends, Ubisoft made that shortly after, and they had to put that on all the systems after because no one was buying the Wii U, which is kind of a shame for some of those.
It's
good games like
worst
that.
selling system that isn't the Virtual Boy.
Yes, that's
Ouch.
saying a lot. But yeah, so
GameCube sold more.
Oh yeah,
you're just like
GameCube sold upwards of 20 million. Wii U was 13.
So you're just like this random survivor that kind of gets dropped off, and there's guys like talking to you, trying to get you out of London, basically. And it's kind of interesting because if you die, you actually become you're permanently dead. You get a new character that you have to go as, and you actually have to go get your gear from your dead zombie version of yourself. So you have to go back and find that guy and then kill him, get your backpack with all your inventory and all your junk and stuff, and then kind of continue on the story. So, yeah, it was definitely a fun game to play. But
Yeah, GameCube did 21.74 million in
Wow.
its total lifespan. The Wii U also had a shorter lifespan because it was selling
That bad that they had to
bad.
move to the next
But
thing.
so this is probably one of the Wii U titles you'd actually recommend that people definitely get if they have a Wii U. And
Yeah, you can play it on
yeah,
PS4.
for sure.
They
Definitely
ported
in my
it.
top 5 Wii U games. I haven't played it because I think it was a free game at one point on PlayStation
Yes,
Plus.
I think it was.
I haven't tried it on the.
Was it called Zombie U?
No, they
On
called it
They called
Zombie.
They just called it Zombie.
They took out the U.
And they actually, I'm kind of bummed because at one point they had a sequel that we were working on, and they canceled it. I think just because the first one didn't sell that much. But
I wonder if it costs more money to develop a Wii U game, probably because they had to put so much learning curve time into.
Well, I know at
developing
that
it.
time a lot of
I bet it's a pain. I don't know
the
about how much more. but-
PlayStation app and the Xbox app were trying to be like, oh yeah, use your phone. It's like a second screen. So that kind of probably worked with a lot of the companies. Like, oh hey, let's try and make the map on your phone.
I didn't even know they were trying to do that.
Yeah,
So
but
that didn't catch on.
Obviously, yeah, it didn't
Well,
catch very well.
PlayStation
but-
was trying to do it with the PS Vita as well, weren't they? Not necessarily a in conjunction screen, dual screen, I guess.
Well,
but
you could. They were saying you could connect it and use it as, but it's too hard to look up and then down completely off something.
and I've
so-
heard people say compare it to why was the DS? The DS was dual screen, but the DS had
It's
no
right there.
competition when they were making a DS game. People were buying the DS. A lot of people were buying the DS. The DS sold very well.
But on top of that, that's the actual the screen is right there. Like if it was a
Yeah.
screen below a screen, but it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So
But all right, Dan, game number 2.
So mine would be a childhood favorite that I have
guess?
not. What?
Can I guess?
Sure.
Little Nemo?
How'd you know?
Because you talk about it a lot.
Little Nemo,
Yeah, you.
like
How the
like
heck
the
did you
movie
know
Finding
that?
Nemo.
You have mentioned that to me so many.
Really? Okay.
Time.
Well, I didn't think I did. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you know this game that I really loved as a kid that I just loved and nobody plays is Little Nemo's Dreamland?
Dream Master close.
It's
Yes.
close.
Yes. So essentially, you
I'm
are.
sorry, that's the second game I've ruined almost.
No, that's fine. That's impressive that you actually knew that. I guess I talk about
You-
a lot more than I
a
thought.
lot.
Okay,
It
well,
wasn't
anyway,
once or
it's a
twice.
good game. Anyway, so I don't know how well it was received. Again, I played it as a kid. I didn't know all about sales and all that. I was just like, oh, I play it, but it's never on any of like anyone's like top 10 or top 20 like best games ever made, or
In all the times you've mentioned it, I've never
yeah,
once
so-
looked up a screenshot. It's not Adventures in Slumberland, is it? You
that's
said
kinda like the
Dream Master, you said.
Little Nemo Dream Master. Yeah, but Adventures in Slumberland. Well, there's actually a anime or a movie that it was. I don't know if it was based off the movie or the movie was based off it.
It's probably based off the movie.
Yeah. So anyway, but essentially, there's like in Dream World or whenever you go to sleep, there's this this monster king or whatever who's creating and causing mayhem or whatever.
It's based off of a Japanese animated film, Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland.
There you go. Okay. So, but anyway, so as the child, when you go to sleep, you end up entering these crazy worlds that are filled with like huge bugs and stuff like
An
that.
ape,
But
a snake.
yeah,
big
so
tree.
you essentially certain animals in the game that you can like join with them, and you basically wear their skin. Like you drug them with candy, they fall asleep, and you jump in them, and then depending on what they are, one of them's a frog. You can swim in water. One of them is a fish. You can swim underwater. One of them is a frog. Another one's like I can't think of the animal that like digs underneath.
Mole.
Maybe mole. There you go. He digs underneath. You can dig faster. Ape. You can climb trees and stuff like that. And it was a really good platformer game. The music was addicting, as well as on top of that, some orchestra reanimated or redid the soundtrack, and did like a live performance, and it was like fantastic. And sometimes at work when I'm like, oh, I just want to listen to some fun happy go music, I throw that on. But it was a really good game, and it was pretty difficult too as a side scroller. But
I do find it very interesting that one of your interesting in a good way, that one of your favorite games, one of your evidently like fondest memories of an older game, is a licensed game based on an anime that I assume was probably not even dubbed in America at that time. That just caught your. I just find that very interesting.
I don't
It's a
even
very-
remember how I played, or it was something I rented all the time from the local like game store. And I mean, at some point I remember finding it at a game store and it was like $20, and I was like, oh my God. And this is when, before eBay, prior to all that. And I was like, oh my God, I can finally own this game. I mean, now obviously eBay and all those things have taken the excitement out of like finding that old like game that you were looking for. But that was one of those ones that I just was very, very fond of and never heard anybody really talk about it.
I've literally only heard you ever mention the game, but again, like that. You have mentioned it a lot, though. That is why I know. Probably because you enjoy it. You bring it up a lot. Probably because you want more people to know about it and play it.
Yes,
I mean, it doesn't work on me since you mentioned it so many times, and I still
I know
haven't played
it's
The last game I want to mention here is actually the game that made me come up with this segment, because I always tout it as, in my mind, it's always been the ultimate diamond in the rough game, because it was a game that was made, a licensed game nonetheless, that was made that probably barely anybody played. They didn't think anybody would play it. And even though I'm into the licensed property it is about, I am still surprised that I loved this game so much. Were you trying to guess?
No. I was thinking. I got no idea.
Is it those
Okay.
Burger King games that got
No.
released for free?
Sneak
No.
King.
Sneak King?
It is it's a PS1 game called Digimon
Ow.
Card Battle. So Digimon, like anything else, still to this day, everything has to have a card game. The Digimon card game I never collected, and I don't even know if this is really, it had a physical card game, but I don't know if this is based on it, and I don't even know what the card game did. But, so, I loved Digimon. So I loved Pokemon growing up, but Digimon had such a, like, deeper story. And my mom at random got me this Digimon battle card game. And at the time, I had been playing Digimon World, which was an open world, kind of like Tamagotchi, train your Digimon up from being born as an egg, and you could train it to fight and everything like that. And that was a really cool game. This one was what you're getting. It's a card battle game. But it started out with an instrumental version of the American Digimon theme song, which I loved, and was before YouTube It was before like media files were very accessible on the internet, at least at fast speeds. I had dial-up at the time. So I would just let the intro play over and over and over again and just listen to it. It had this like cool scene, and I was really happy that they had the English version because, you know, it might be an unpopular opinion in the Digimon community, but I love the Digimon theme song, like that like techno song or whatever you describe it as, the repetitive nature. But anyways, the actual game itself was really addicting and really fun, and you could turn it on or off, but every card battle between the two factions actually had 3D models come out and attack. And like I at the time, I think this might have even predated Pokemon Stadium. So it was really cool to see that, and just the card game was so fun, and you could fuse cards and get new ones. It was like kind of like the loot box mentality where you didn't know what you were going to get. And
Surprise mechanics, Andy.
say it's surprise. You're
Not
paying
loot
us money for
boxes.
nothing. Except this game, I just paid the full price and never paid a dime. Actually, my mom did. I never paid a dime. It was a free to play game for me.
Nice.
But yeah, I just had so much. It was such an addictive, fun game of a card game that I never played in real life. And it was, even without it being Digimon, it was just fun on its own. And it was fun making a deck and kind of playing against the different people. And I don't know. It always stood out to me as that one game I played that probably wasn't supposed to be fun, that just gave me a lot more fun than any other game I was playing at the time. And if you like Digimon and you have the ability to play a PS1 game, or I guess the ability to download a torrent file of an emulator to play a PS1 game, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's a really fun game. I definitely recommend it. It's not for everybody. I know it's not for anybody who probably doesn't like Digimon. That's just how it is.
There was a Digimon game, and it was actually pretty cool because in the middle of the game, it would allow you to eject the disc, put in any other disc, any other like video game disc.
I think that was Monster Ranger,
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. I take it back. It wasn't.
which I never played, but I
But it was good. So one of
heard
them,
good things about
my
Monster Ranger.
my friend made me. He was like, "Dude, bring over a bunch of PlayStation 1 games. I want to get the thing." And of course, I brought over my favorite Metal Gear Solid. I put it in. The one of the monsters that popped up actually had a bandana over his head. I was like, that is really cool. I'm sure for like the more popular ones, kind of like in Metal Gear 1 where he read your memory card, and obviously he only picked, for the super, what's it called, for the GameCube, he only picked probably like super really popular games. And mine had Super Smash Brothers on it, so he actually mentioned
when
Super
they had
Smash
it on
Brothers
Smash.
when he spoke Psycho Mantis. But
I know.
I just thought it was a neat mechanic. I thought it was the Digimon world.
No, that
Oh,
was Monster Rancher.
Okay.
Which I never played, but I was aware of.
Yeah.
I guess, but I had something to say and it's gone now.
Oh no.
To Matt for his last game.
Sure. Yeah. So I might have mentioned this game before. I mentioned its sequel a lot. Is Dark Cloud. So that was a game that came out for, I think this was early on in the PlayStation 2 life, and it was kind of dubbed as the Zelda Killer before it was coming out.
I remember that.
And it came out, and it got really bad reviews. People kind of panned it, I think, because it was getting hyped up so much. But it is a lot of fun. So you're going through these procedurally generated maps, which I think is one of the reasons people didn't like it.
Dark Cloud 1 or 2 got panned by critics.
One got panned. They were both, one got panned, 2 did not get panned.
Okay.
But yeah, so you're going through these dungeons. So when you're going through the dungeons, you get all these different places to the town that you're in, and then you have to basically build the map of the town the way you like it. And the people will have different requests, like, oh, I want to be near the river. I want to be near the big tree or something. So you kind of you get more items based on how you build this town so that everyone else is happy. It also has weapons that degrade and break, which understandably upset a lot of people because you can spend a lot of time upgrading a weapon and then it could just break. So it had a lot of these kind of unfriendly things to the game that kind of made people not like it. And the characters were not terribly interesting. You would eventually get, I think it was like 4 or 5 different characters in your group that you could play as. And they were fun to play as, but they didn't really have a lot of character. But I don't know, for some reason, just going into these dungeons, being like, okay, I'm going to get all these pieces to the world, and then I'm going to build it exactly to their liking, and then that's going to give me the ultimate weapon for this character, and then I have to go do it to the next town. I had a lot of fun with it.
No, that's Dark Cloud 1, not 2.
So that was 1. 2, I'm not going to talk about 2, but 2 is a great game, which I think reviewed pretty well.
Yeah, I thought
but
that-
I still think not enough people played that too.
It's a pretty rare game. It's pretty expensive.
When you say dungeons, is this kind of like Diablo style or more like Zelda style dungeons? I'm just trying to picture
More
in
like
my
Diablo
head.
because it's very procedurally generated. So you'll go down into a level and it'll just be different.
Was Diablo
different hallways.
procedurally generated?
No.
Oh.
But I'm just trying to.
Some parts.
When I think of Zelda, there's all those different puzzle rooms, and it's very
Yeah.
very deliberate how
Yeah.
it's made. This game, like
Dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
more
Like
like the game.
The,
Okay.
the procedural generated makes it really kind of feel a little bit samey with every level because it's just different hallways with different turns and maybe different big rooms, but they're all very similar and none of them are very distinct or deliberate. So there's not a lot of puzzles or anything like that. It's a lot of okay, you have to go through. You're going through a level. You have to find the piece to the overworld so you can build the town, and you also have to find the key to get to the next level on each floor, and then you fight a boss at the end of the floor. But it's a fun, good little RPG
So
to spend some
do
time
you-
with. But I can't even defend it. Honestly, it's not that amazing.
Do
There's
you
just
own
something
Dark
about
Cloud
it.
too?
Yes, I own both of them.
Okay, but you want to bring up this one specifically because not a lot of people.
Yeah, because I mean, I
liked
would
or played
consider this
one.
more of a game people haven't played that much that I think is good, even
Yeah.
though. So I don't know if that fits exactly the diamond in the rough criteria. It's more of a game that I like that other people don't like.
Do you know what's funny? The box art makes me want to play it
Yeah,
for
it's
whatever
fun.
reason.
Yeah.
Box,
It's just
like-
the main character.
He does look a lot like Link. Like, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Taking
not.
deliberation
from that.
That's true, but that's not necessarily why it makes me want to play. It's just like I don't know. We've talked about this before in passing. Just like box art has lost a lot of aesthetic.
Well, yeah, it's just like
Gears of War. You were talking about the new Gears of War box.
Well,
but-
even Metal Gear Solid 4 is just like an old man's face. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
So I
or
thought that was-
every Battlefield box art ever is like the same
Yeah, the same generic.
thing.
Yeah.
But it look,
Even-
yeah, it does look like Link.
Yeah.
So-
It really does. Except
I actually, so I have like one PlayStation magazine from many years ago, and the whole thing is about that's on the cover, Dark Cloud,
Yeah.
and it was talking about how,
It's gonna bring
yeah,
down Link.
this is going to be like the PlayStation version of
Yeah.
like Zelda. It's like the one magazine I kept.
even though it was a dungeon crawler instead of a puzzle dungeon,
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be that adventure like thing that
can't
that
bring
PlayStation
down
doesn't
Zelda.
have. No, obviously nothing can because
No
it
one
just
can
keeps
bring down Zelda.
surviving.
Except,
think that's what
except
hurt.
for
It's
maybe a
amazing.
crappy Breath of the Wild sequel.
Was
We'll
all
see
the
how
hype
that
that it was
goes.
getting
I
before
don't-
it came out.
I don't
It was
think-
just like, oh, this is all.
Not like Alone in the Dark when they were like really like buy
Yeah.
these T-shirts. Get like they were really pushing. Like yeah, that's. I mean yeah, if you're gonna like overmarket a game, you got to make sure it's gonna live up to expectations. What's your final game, Dan?
My final game.
That you came up with during the podcast.
No, I had one, but I changed it because I didn't think it was. I didn't. Like,
What was your original pick? Just for curiosity.
Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City?
Oh yeah, I can see why you
So
want to change
I
that.
liked it, but it didn't instill like a lot of.
Also,
like,
I don't
just
necessarily think that was like a like people. A lot of people know about that.
well, they
game and have
know
played it.
about it, but they just didn't like. A lot of people didn't like it.
Oh, okay, all right. No,
but
that's
going
right.
to
That's
my
right.
other pick, I played this game multiple. I'm pretty sure I beat it 3 times. It has different endings. Do you know
I
it?
guess.
Yeah.
Is it something I could feasibly guess?
Yeah, yeah.
Multiple endings. Mass Effect thing.
No, Mass Effect's way too popular too,
Okay.
and it was received very well.
That's true. I don't
This
know
is
why I
part
picked
of
Mass
a
Effect.
bigger franchise, but this is not a well-liked game in this franchise. It's actually very like people really did not like it. Well, first of all,
Oh, I'm done guessing. You can tell us what
okay.
it is. Sorry.
Silent Hill Homecoming.
I would have never guessed that.
Okay. So Silent Hill Homecoming was obviously people loved
That was
to
the Wii version, right?
No, Homecoming was Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. But people did not like it because it was American made. It wasn't the typical guy who made like the previous 2 or the same team that made the previous 2. But I still really enjoyed the story, especially this one overhauled the combat, so it did feel more like it was over the shoulder. And when you got tons of weapons, you got an axe, you got a pipe, you got a pistol, and then you got different types of pistols. You got like a stronger pistol, like a Magnum type of thing later. You got like a shotgun.
As a frame of reference, what weapons did you get in Silent Hill 2?
You got one generic pistol, one generic shotgun. This one
okay.
you upgraded it later. You got better ones. But also on top of that, it was because this one added the over the shoulder. So what you were aiming at, you could actually aim for certain parts. And
Yeah, Silent Hill 2, like your whole body was in the way, wasn't it?
well, it's just more like Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3, where you just aim and it auto aims to and you're just aiming in the general direction. Which it in itself is obviously spooky because you don't know how many shots it's going to take to kill them. Whereas this one, if you hit certain enemies in certain spots, they're going to go down. But I still think it just took what I loved about the Silent Hill franchise and made the combat more fluid and better, I thought. Because Silent Hill 2, as much as it is, I will tell it is my favorite horror game ever made.
Well, it seems like it's more or less one of yours and Matt's
Yes.
favorite game ever. Like one of them, like up there.
It's not my.
No, not the, but up there. Silent Hill 2.
Well, like mechanically, no, it's terrible. Like going back now, it's a uncomfortable game to play now. It's still clunky, but it's
I'm just saying, whenever Silent Hill 2 is mentioned, you to perk the hell up.
well,
Maybe
yeah.
another one.
It is probably for fear of like kind of like Soma did it in like this game did it in like a psychological like.
I'm just
screwed
saying,
up.
like, you'd probably put it up there as one of your favorite games, though, right?
It's definitely that's when I decide like favorite, like what's my favorite genre, like action, stealth,
Oh, like
so
one for each genre.
It would be my
Okay.
favorite like horror game ever made, but
Wouldn't make your top 10 overall?
I guess it would be up.
We're gonna have to do that eventually
Oh, God.
on the podcast. It will probably be my game discussion idea, and I will give you all a
See,
very good heads up before we do it.
It's gonna be tough too because mechanically now, like, how do you grade something now? Like, it's very uncomfortable. Like I said, it plays like a. So going back, like Final Fantasy VII, like the story was amazing, and the gameplay was right now it's sufficient. Like it's tolerable. You can play it.
Not that I want to get into discussion now, but I assume when we did that play of like age would have to be a factor, and a lot of PS1 games did not age very
No.
well, in particular because
Metal
that was
Gear
the
Solid
first.
1 didn't age well. I tried to
Yeah.
replay that just for the heck of it.
But-
I actually bought the PlayStation Classic.
I
for
would say we would
$30.
have to do
Nice.
it just overall feeling.
Yeah.
What are you feeling? You feeling this is
So
a top 10 game
as a
for you?
feeling for like story, yes, 100% it would be in top 10. But going back to staying on topic here for myself,
Sidetracked so well.
I know.
So much.
So Homecoming, I thought was really good. It had everything that I loved from the Silent Hill. It had like a foggy town. It had some really weird, socially awkward people. I don't know if Matt, you've played it.
Yeah, I played it, but like honestly, all the ones after 3 were just super forgettable for me.
Oh, see,
all
something
blended
about that
together.
game. I think it might have been the combat because there was the next one after that was really forgettable for me. Where you played as the convict that gets he's in the bus and he's being shifted to another. Well, I'm kind of aiming this. Sorry, more. towards
Oh
Matt,
no,
'cause
I know.
figured he
That's
played it.
fine.
I played it.
I'm
it
just
sounds-
And
enjoying
then the
listening
bus
to it.
crashes. All the guys get out. And
You guys
then-
listen to me talk about Digimon for 6 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
but
to mention, I mentioned Digimon earlier in the podcast. So this is a very Digimon heavy podcast.
So, but anyway, something about this game, it just I just really enjoyed it. The soundtrack was really, kind of creepy, just like it wasn't. I mean, it's nowhere near 2 and 3, but I mean, a lot of people just hated it. I don't know if it was just because the Japanese studio didn't take it over and people thought, oh, this is a cop out, but I actually enjoyed it. Then progressively down
Silent
the
Hill's
line.
Konami, right?
Yes.
Which is why
The Hideo Kojima thing and
yeah,
God,
they
kept in
made
the blood.
PT, and then we haven't heard anything from
Yeah.
Silent Hill since.
Yeah,
'Cause
which
screw us.
well, I mean, they're too busy making pachinko machines.
I know. But, I mean, here's to hoping that maybe either somebody will buy it from them or Konami will smarten up and do that. But,
that'd be
anyway, so, yeah, Silent Hill Homecoming was my last
Well,
one.
if it makes you feel better, I feel like Resident Evil 2, if Konami was paying attention, it sold very well. So maybe that will push them to either A, remake Silent Hill 2, or maybe bring Silent Hill back because
That'd be
the game
amazing.
still. Resident Evil 2 sold well.
I don't know how I feel about a HD Silent Hill 2.
Why?
I don't know.
New
It's
Resident
just...
Evil was awesome.
You just said that it hasn't aged very well, so maybe
No,
that
it
would help.
hasn't. But it's one of those games where I feel like it might take because that was like, that's my our favorite horror game. But I think when you put detailed graphics on something, like Resident Evil 2 was an awesome game.
I
and loved
understand
it.
where you're coming
but
from.
something about it where
Yeah.
if you HD the graphics of seeing Pyramid Head, and seeing the hallways, unless of course they can really dampen, or not dampen, but hamper your sight.
Yeah, I mean,
so
if they
can
keep
do
the
it
fog there.
exactly, well, not only that, but when you're in the hotel, when you're in the hospital, if they
just
can
make
make
it
it so if they can make it dark, if they can make it so that the light or something hinders,
It's kind of like
I would be excited and I would want to play it,
Yeah.
but I just would hope it wouldn't hinder my experience to play Silent Hill 2 the way it was.
Yeah, it's kind of like I bought Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray recently, and like shows like that were made for those grainy 4:3 ratio televisions where you couldn't see all of the detail, and now you see all the little details, which I think is neat, but it does take away some of the ambiance, which is like kind of like those kind of like weird, not perfect graphics, and it's like on using the AV cables makes it a little blurry, so it gives you like a different feel where if you're watching an HD with perfect textures, it isn't going to give you that same feeling that you had playing it for the first time.
Exactly. And not only that, something about the PlayStation 2 graphics, like not being able to see the zombie's face very well, kind of gave you that fright. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really see him. Like, I don't know. Like, I just see some, like, all right, I know those pixels are blood, but I don't.
The texture capabilities at the time combined with the fact that you're using the AV 480p cables.
Yeah, and not only that, whenever they bit you, it looked like they were just trying to like hug your neck, or like lean on your neck.
Come on, bud, let's hug it out.
So, but yeah, no, that would be
I would like to say this was a successful segment
it was good.
that I came up with.
Good last second pick.
I give it
Last
a passing grade.
Second pick.
Well, you came up with it like the last day.
I
or
did come
something.
up with it this
So
morning.
that's why I was saying good last second.
I gotta be honest, I'm enjoying this more casual version of the show.
Me too. Who cares?
If someone else
Whatever.
is, please tell us, because that's what we'll continue to do.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep on top of some of the stuff.
Yeah, I see. I would think that, considering I completely forgot about the whole surprise mechanics thing. I would have loved to talk about. I mean, there wasn't really much. We talk about loot boxes a lot already on this program. We even talked about the ads with NBA. I guess I didn't want to keep bringing in like the same crap up every week. Like, let's talk about microtransactions in games again. But I mean, we had a lot of topics, but also, went off trail a little bit. But I'd say I like the new format.
I like it. It works.
I like us.
Oh, Matt cares about us.
I like me,
Greedy bastard.
but I mean, I'm great. Where can people find you, Matt?
Matt Talks Games on Twitter and Twitch, maybe.
You should probably just start saying just Twitter.
I'm gonna Twitch one day.
I mean, you did Twitch one day. I watched. I was one of your viewers.
Fabulous entertainment.
Do it more often. We have a YouTube channel for a reason.
We'll see. Once more PC games come out that I want to try, I'll start doing it.
You should do it on Dauntless.
Andy's
That's
going
a
to
good
do it
point.
with.
I guess I've been playing a lot of Dauntless.
Dan, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Game Review Guy.
And you can find me at Hylian Andy, and you can also find me doing my other evidently seldomly done show, A Link Between Zeldas, which I will hopefully be having episode 2 out this weekend. I also said this last Wednesday, but
Don't trust him.
I was also sick last week.
Okay, trust
I
him.
was also beating Spider-Man last weekend. That was very important.
What's the next game on the list?
Soma.
Woohoo!
Also check out the YouTube channel because I am planning on streaming some of my gameplay for upcoming games such as Soma, Metro Exodus, and Crash Bandicoot Kart Racing Nitro Fueled. Is that the name of the game? I'm looking at you.
Wow.
Matt.
Sure.
I did. All right, quick side note. I do love that they brought like the Crash Bandicoot like advertisements back. I thought that was really
With
cool.
the guy dressed up in the suit?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, are those back?
Yeah.
I used to love those
Yeah.
commercials.
I-
That's
they
like
brought
Geico.
'em back.
Geico came back with all their old commercials.
Yeah, but they brought
through the
they
years.
did a newer commercial too with the guy.
Aw.
I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's the same like his in the mouth like he's the face, and he's like taunting people. So it's really
I
funny.
used to love those commercials. Also, I am going to be, hopefully frequently, we'll see how good they like my writing. I'm going to be writing articles for 2guysplayingzelda.com. I don't know if that's the URL, but I think that's the URL.
Sweet.
I'm not good at things.
Apparently.
And remember, you can email the podcast anytime at manabarpodcast@gmail.com, as well as find us on Twitter @manabarpodcast. We'd love to hear from anybody listening to the show. We love feedback. We love comments. Please send in your questions.
Or thoughts.
Or don't. But please do. And with that, this is the Trophy Hunter, the Collector, and the Bargain Bin Gamer logging off. Do-do-do-do-do-do.